From Darling Stadium, Thursday, October the 30th, 2014, it's Thursday Night Football on LSC, your local sports channel. Good evening, everybody. I'm Paul Rowe, up in the booth along with my partner, Frank Edgar, Brent Musgrove on the stats, and our field analyst, Mr. Bob Hintz. Welcome to tonight's game between the Bethel Bruins and the Hampton Crabbers. That says a lot, doesn't it?
Well, it elicits the excitement for me and for many of us here in Hampton. This is a great rivalry between two teams that have played each other in some very important games over the year. Tonight's an important game. It's the last game of the regular season for these two clubs. Both of them right now headed to the playoffs. Bethel would like to secure the win tonight to ensure them a playoff spot. The Crabbers, I think, are pretty much a lock. I'm not sure this game matters either way. But I know that Mike Smith over on the Crabbers sideline wants to get a win against their arch rivals, the Bethel Bruins. And Bubba Hooker here at Bethel wants to get one to get them a better spot in the playoffs. So, important game for both clubs.
And I think Mike Smith considers this game as very, very important to him. Every game out here at Darling Stadium is important to him. He wants to be in a good role when he hits the playoffs. And the playoffs, of course, that's a whole different monster now out there. Everybody's in the playoff, it seems like. Bethel has a chance of making it, like you said. Hampton's pretty much a lock for it. Looks like Kictan may get into it. Phoebus may get into it. You never know.
No, and to be honest, we don't have enough time on this show to explain who's in the playoffs, who's not. Safe to say that everybody's in except maybe the three teams that get cut out under the new system. These two teams should be there and could make some runs this year.
They could. Run. Look at that picture there. Well, by the way, we're speaking of runs. Look at the beautiful skyline here off of Darling Stadium here in downtown Hampton. Just a great place. The field is in good shape tonight. Please notice that the numbers are in pink, and somewhere along there you're going to be able to see later on during the game some pink ribbons because this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's partly cloudy tonight, as you can see. The temperature is good. It's a little cool up here. We had to shut the window a little bit so we could warm up.
61, I think, is higher than it is here in the booth. So
yeah, it is. And Frank even brought his hat along with us tonight
just in case.
In case it gets a little cool out there. You never know. But should be a good game tonight. A nice night for football. It's always a nice night for football. All right. Right now, we have Mr. Brent Musgrove down on the field, and he's going to do a small interview with Mr. Mike Smith, the coach of the Hampton Crabbers. Brent?
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Of course, I'm here with, everybody knows, head coach Mike Smith of the Hampton Crabbers. Coach, you come into the night 6-3, 5-3, already headed into the playoffs, locked up. Haven't gone through the season as you've gone so far. How do you feel like we're looking at playoffs right now? I know you're pretty much solid in 4 or 5 somewhere in there, but teams down the road, I just want to get into that first. Do you have any idea where we're going from here?
Really don't know much about it. I would presume at this point right now we're probably playing either Green Run or Great Bridge. They both have 2 games left. And, so I don't know how much tonight's game will affect us. I don't think it's going to move us too much. Probably we're going to stay in the 4th position right now.
Well, let's get to Bethel. I know you've viewed every kind of film there is, or you know this team as well as anybody does except for their coach maybe, and I'm not so sure you don't that. What do you see that's the biggest threat from this Bethel team tonight when you walk out on the field against them?
I think they're a very well-coached football team on defense and offensive side of the ball. They don't make a lot of mistakes. The running back's extremely talented kid, has great vision. Hurts you more with the cutback sometimes than it does in the original direction, but he's a good, strong, hard runner. The quarterback, Bo, does a good job for him. I mean, you know, he throws the ball well, handles the ball well, and if you forget him, he'll come back on a counter on you and hurt you. So there's certainly a very worthy opponent.
All right, let me ask you about a couple of players and some we haven't talked about before. I want to talk to you about number 15, senior Vincent Barrett. He's been playing a little bit of running back for you and linebacker. Tell us a little bit about him.
I think Vincent kind of got thrown into the tailback situation once D went down, you know, and that was the second game against Woodside. And so he'd been playing fullback, and of course we've been in a spread more now as a one-back set a lot, and he plays fullback and running back, blocking back or wherever, and plays outside linebacker. Very very talented young man. Yeah, he started for us last year as outside linebacker, so very, very talented.
Let me talk about one more senior if I can. I just love saying the name. Let's talk about your kicker, Bo Lomax.
Bo's he's been good this year. His punting is what has really surprised us, because he didn't spend that much time, and apparently he works with Covington guy up out of James City County, and it's really improved. His punting is much better this year. His kicking's been really good. He's a tough kid. I've been threatening to put him at tight end, but he doesn't like that idea too good.
Well, I'm kind of tickled that you talked about his punting, because some of the games I've seen, he's not only got good distance, hang time, but he's been able to put it to where he wants to put it, the side of the field he's trying to put it at.
Well, he's done a good job with it, especially sometimes when he has to chase the ball down in order to. He's made a couple of really one-hand catches that were just really good. So hopefully he doesn't have to do that tonight. It'd be an ideal night if you don't have to punt. I don't think that's going to happen, but.
One last question to get a little back off of it like we started. When you play in this district, the teams you play, still not a district technically, does that help you or not help you when you get ready to go into the playoffs with the type of teams you play here?
Well, I think it's always been a very competitive group on the peninsula. There's always 4 or 5 teams that are going to battle every year. And since Chubbs went down to Heritage, they've gotten better. They've been in the mix of things. Coach Keaton's done a really good job, and so yeah, I think that in preparation-wise, that it helps everybody coming out of here when you go the other side. There's some good teams over there.
Coach, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come over. Good luck tonight, and we're looking forward to the playoffs, sir.
Well,
thank you so much. All right, guys, back up. Back up to you.
All right, thank you, Brent. There he is. Brent Musgrove with talk with Coach Mike Smith, Hampton. And speaking of Hampton, talk about Hampton a little bit. I mean, I've been impressed this year with their offense. They've got a very talented offense, especially with Jovan Quillen at quarterback. He's just amazing.
Everything starts with Jovan Quillen. He wears the number 1. You'll see him out there tonight. He is the number 1 guy in the league in touchdowns with 19. He runs them in, he throws them in, he does everything. And if he stays healthy, he himself can carry the Crabbers through a round or 2 of the playoffs. So as goes Quillen, go the Crabbers tonight. The senior Taekwon Wilkins playing his last regular season game, the little left-hander. He has been spectacular over the past couple of years. Opposing teams late in this season have started to pick up on him a little more, and he's had a more difficult time scoring. But I believe he's got 8 touchdowns now, and he's the main receiver for Quillen. So the 2 of them hook up. In fact, the early part of the year, that was his main target every time he threw the ball. So,
and he's almost a game changer without touching the ball, because the fact that he could touch the ball and be a game changer scares people.
So we'll see. We'll see. You're seeing the best, I think, the best quarterback in the district in Jovan Quillen, and one of the best receivers, Taekwon Wilkins. So between those 2 and Barrett in the backfield tonight, the Crabbers got a good chance on offense. The lines, we watched this Bethel line a couple times. We've been very impressed. So it's going to be up to the Hampton front line to give Quillen just a little bit of time, maybe a little hole on the sneaks he runs. If they are able to do that and control the line of scrimmage, they should pull off the win tonight.
All right, how about the Hampton defense, Frank? Now, we saw at the beginning of the year, they looked a little shaky a little bit. They allowed a lot of points. But we've seen them over the past weeks getting a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. And I'm really impressed with those linebackers, Barrett, Taylor, Hatcher, and occasionally Cal Key. They're doing a really better job than they did at the beginning of the year. What's your opinion there?
Well, they have gotten better. The Hampton defense for years was the main thing that propelled the Crabbers to titles year after year. They don't have the size they normally have. They haven't had the size the last couple of years, but they still got a great defensive coordinator in Danny Mitchell. And these guys, between he and Mike Smith and the rest of that crew over there, they can teach guys how to play football. We've seen these young men get better as a unit. And look for some power from the big line tonight. It's going to be a great battle in the line of scrimmage tonight, the Hampton D and the Bethel O line.
And I'm looking forward to seeing that. Right now, however, we're going to go right back down to the field where Bob Hintz has an interview with Coach Bubba Hooker from the Bethel Bruins. Bob.
Thanks, guys. I got Coach Hooker here. Coach, you've been coaching football longer than a lot of our guys have been alive, except maybe Frank Edgar, but you have done a lot of good things in your career, but with this team, you feel like the guys are getting better every week. I think so. I mean, we always try to stress fundamentals, blocking and tackling, because that's what the game's all about. And, you know, we don't do a whole lot on offense and defense because we don't want to spend a lot of time teaching assignments as opposed to teaching technique and getting better. All right, now you got to take your hand off to your coaches. You got a great coaching staff over there. How about talking about some of your coaches? Well, I wrote them down, make sure I didn't forget anybody.
That's good.
I have Dorsey Hooker, who's the assistant.
You know him?
Assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, coaches a wide receiver, outside linebackers, and then T.C. Chisley, he's the quarterback coach. He's in the press box helping Coach Hooker call plays, and Billy Allen's our running back coach. Rob Barker calls the defensive signals. He coaches the inside linebackers. Al Mara is upstairs. He coaches the defensive back. He's in the press box. And Mike Lawson's our administrative assistant and special team coordinator. And he's helped in the kicking game with James Shover, who handles the kickers and punters. And Kelly Lawrence handles our long snappers. And then our trainers, we actually had two of them this year, Renee Anthony and Tracy Oakes. And then our athletic director, Ray Smith, and our assistant principal, Tim Case, and then, of course, the principal, Ralph Saunders. So they do a great job. Well, listen, I know that as a coach, you kind of keep your hand on the pulse of things. Your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, they pretty well have a free reign. You go over what you want to do before game? Pretty much. The defensive coordinator, who's me, probably has more of a free reign than the offensive coordinator, who's Dorsey. But, you know, they all know what they're doing, so we just try to make sure that we're all on the same page. Yeah, that's always an important thing. But I know tonight's senior night, and you recognize your seniors, and you've got some seniors that's going on to college and going to pursue some pretty good academics. Right. I actually have those written down, too. We have architectural engineering, sports management, several in physical therapy, marketing and business, sports medicine, computer science, graphic design, mechanical engineering, media communications, criminology, forensic science, psychology. So that's a pretty good spread. Well, I know academics is very important. You have that study hall that the kids go to every day, and that's very important. Now, when you look at this team compared to the teams you have, you feel like they're doing as well as the other teams as far as on the same page with your guys? I think so. Because we've been doing the study hall and all for so long now, this group is probably a little bit stronger GPA-wise. But, you know, all the seniors had choices about where they wanted to go, if they wanted to go to college. And, not everybody wants to play college football either, you know. And, right. Sometimes the parents want them to play more than the kids do. Listen, one last question. Want to talk a little bit about Hampton. What you expect from Hampton tonight? We expect, number one, to run the ball and throw the ball. Well, that's probably about all they can do, right? Well, I don't know. He's good at it. Well, listen, good luck tonight, Coach. All right, thank you. Appreciate good enough. Let's go back up to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it very much. There it is, Bob Hintz, along with Coach Bubba Hooker from Bethel High School. And speaking of Bethel, I really like Bethel, but they've had an up-and-down year. We see them one game, and they look sharp. We see them another game, and they look like they lost a little bit of luster, and then the next game they're sharp again. But they've got some really talented kids out there.
Well, I believe we called a game just a couple of weeks ago. They'd won every other. It was the night they played Phoebus, and that was their night to win. They ended up losing by 1 point, and they had a touchdown call back late in the game on a penalty. So they seem to play on those even nights, and this would be, I believe, another one of those nights. So this could be their night to really put it together. Bo Morgan's been superb at quarterback, and he's given any bit of time, he can really be trouble for the Crabbers. Crabbers got some pretty good cornerbacks, but you got to keep up with these receivers, Brown and Chisley, who are terrific. So we really, you've got to get Quentin Lee. You got to get him moving tonight, too, and we saw him get stronger against Phoebus as that game went on.
Yeah, and Quentin Lee, a strong runner, as we know. Very, very strong for the Bethel Bruins. All right, well, right now we're going to go back to both Bob and Brent as they wrap up everything down on the field for us. Guys?
Bob, here we are, last game of the season. We started this a few weeks ago. Had a few golf matches in between.
A few, but we do have one more game to do.
Yeah, I'm talking about regular season, like I said, regular season.
Yeah.
We got one more game tomorrow night. But Bethel Hampton, it's always what it is, comes back. It's where it started almost. And
1980
is when y'all did the first game. And
yeah.
this kind of look at this game as an anniversary for the TV station, even though it's moved around during the season. But let's talk.
When we did this first game, just to interrupt you quick, Andy Foley was, I don't know what he was doing, but his grandfather was riding on the bus with Kozlowski.
You've been doing it a long time, Bob. Well, this, of course, is a natural rivalry that we've talked about, but tonight's more important. Tonight it means a whole lot to both teams to win, of course, for bragging rights. But for Hampton's locked into the playoffs, probably at number 4, win or lose. Bethel need it. They're at number 8, which is the last position in their section.
Right.
And so they need this victory because they still might not work out for them with a win. So what you talk about that?
And that's one thing that I had talked to Coach Hooker about earlier in the week, that, you know, he knows it's important, but he doesn't want to put a lot of pressure on his kids and say, you know, it's a win or we go home type of thing in the last game. And that's, he just wants to go into the game with the same mentality. He tries to go in with every game that we're going to go out there and do the best we can with what we got, and hopefully we'll come out on top.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the teams. Of course, we've got some common denominators between these two teams.
Oh, do that.
Hampton and Bethel have both played Phoebus, both played Heritage, both played Kickotan. So
right.
when you come out and look at that, it's hard to shake it up. Hampton beats Kickotan in a free-for-all scoring.
Oh, that was
great
for
fans. And who would have figured out how Kickotan handled Bethel 43-6? But you turn that right around. Bethel almost beats Phoebus, and there's some discussion about whether they actually did lose them by 1 point.
Right.
Turn around, Hampton loses to Heritage, Bethel beats Heritage. And so this is a game you just can't figure out tonight, because if you look down the lines of the teams they've played, it's pretty much, wow, who just takes over tonight? You can't figure it.
Well, and you look at the two teams, and you look at the two running backs, and you got Quillen, Bubba Quillen, who is #1 leading rusher in the district, and he's a quarterback, very unusual. He runs the ball more than any quarterback they've had at Hampton. And the second running, the third running back is the Quentin Lee from Bethel. So you got two of the top top 3. You got 2 of them here playing tonight. So, and they're both pretty good runners.
Well, you talk about Quillen. He himself has accounted for almost 2,200 yards and 24 TDs. You take the Bethel quarterback and the Bethel running back, which is Morgan and Lee. They're right at 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns or something like that. So like you said, you got the twosome from Bethel, and who's going to check who? That's where it's going to come down to.
Well, and I was talking to the coach the other day, and I said, you know, Bo Morgan comes from a good family. His dad played for Kozlowski at Bethel High School. And I said, do you know what they called his daddy? And he said, no. I said, Mongo. I said, Mongo? He was one tough lineman. But his boy is really great at quarterback. I like him. He's still got a lot of rough edges, but he's getting better every game, and that's what the coach wants him to do.
Well, both quarterbacks are rated right at 52% in completing their passes, within a couple of percentage points of each other. The key tonight is something we saw he did against Phoebus. He started running.
Right. Now,
whether that's going to continue or not tonight, I don't know.
Well, it gives them another dimension they didn't have before, and that's what really threw Phoebus in. What's happening here?
Yeah,
all of a sudden we had him stopped, and he's running.
Well, yeah, they were just looking for him to let the ball go. If that comes into play tonight, that gives Bethel that double threat with Bo Morgan running and Quentin Lee. Yeah. It's going to prove to be interesting. Let me just give you one more fact. You always talk about it, in the trenches. We talked about this earlier, and you've looked at the line, but it's just one fact I've pulled out of it. If you looked at the offensive line of Bethel, they outweigh Hampton's defensive front 4 by 55 pounds per man.
Yeah, that's
Is that going to play? Because Hampton, for the last several years, has leaned on quickness, try to be fast.
Yeah, and they are.
And with that, take it on home.
Well, and that's one thing that you got to look at is the quickness of Hampton against the size of Bethel. Now, some of these big kids at Bethel, they're not slow either. I mean, they're big, pretty quick, and you don't want a big guy running at you. A little guy, you can step out of the way maybe. But this team's, it's going to come down to, I think, which quarterback is on tonight. And if Bo Morgan is on, it could be a long night for Hampton. If Bubba is on, if he's passing, he doesn't have to run, I think it'll be a long night for Bethel. But Hampton-Bethel, great game.
Looking forward to it. Why don't you send it back up?
All right, guys, stay tuned for tonight's catering sponsors.
Well, there's a game tonight and every night this season, brought to you by the Grey Goose, the cafe and bakery in downtown Hampton. Now featuring, or coming up here at Christmas time, lots of little shows down at the Grey Goose. They're open 11 to 3 daily for lunches. But in the evening during December, you'll see the Merry Christmas Darling Special. It's a Southern Harmony Spectacular. I understand it involves the Hatfields and the McCoys, a 3-course dinner and a lot of fun. So join the Grey Goose. Check them out on Facebook at the Grey Goose. And go down there and get a sandwich. We had a good one tonight, Paul, sponsored by Phil and Dana Epstein down there. Well, I had a good chicken wrap that you recommended. Very good.
Yeah, the chicken wrap was just plain ridiculously good.
And that cookie that I really didn't eat was delicious as well. So
yeah, I don't think anybody knew about the cookies except us, and they were very, very enjoyable. What did you call that one? It was a what?
I call it, it was the gingerbreadish.
Gingerbreadish cookie, yes.
It was not quite gingerbread, but quite good. And no doubt baked by Phil Epstein down there at the Grey Goose. And guys who didn't bring cookies tonight are the officials. There they are there, the white hat. Larry Turlington with his crew tonight. Will Gibbs, Sergio Jimenez, the linesman. The line judge, Tony Krug. Les McGuire is the side judge. The field judge, Todd Tucker. And the back judge tonight, Mac McGehee. So a veteran crew tonight to call this great game. I understand we've got some of the alumni players in the crowd tonight from Bethel and from Hampton, including my old friend Stan Jones from Hampton. I understand he's here down from Northern Virginia there.
That's from way back.
Well, Bethel High School is getting ready to, they're trying to put on a giant alumni reunion next year. They're already planning that, so keep your eyes open for the Bethel reunion. And so many of those kids went to school with so many of the kids that went to Hampton that I think it's going to be big time next year. Keep your eyes open for the big Bethel 70s and 80s reunion.
Now, what people don't remember, going back as far as when Bethel started, and I forget what year that was, somewhere around 68, I guess. Bethel was an extension of Hampton High School because the population got so large at Hampton that they needed more schools, and Bethel came from that. And most of the kids that went over there were from Hampton High School. So talk about a rivalry.
Oh, a lot of them all went to Jefferson Davis Junior High back then, and then they split that group. Well, the captain's meeting in midfield. It will be on the way. And good night tonight. Some traditional jerseys tonight. Bethel in the home green with the gold numbers. Hampton, of course, in the whites with the red numbers. Easy to see on this crystal clear night.
That's what I was going to say. Numbers that we can see clear and sharp and hopefully not have too many problems. All we got to do now is talk the city of Hampton into getting one of those cameras that goes right down the middle of the field on a string, but they said that was cost prohibitive.
We can probably supply the string.
Yeah. Maybe we can get one of those little Go cameras and slide it back and forth over there. So
well, I hope the folks at home are noticing Andy Foley and his crew and the fine camera work this year. It has been outstanding.
Oh, yeah. In fact, our whole crew has been outstanding. And I'm going to tell you real quick before the game starts here, we've got on the cameras Randy Bagoli, Susan Bowers, Lube Gabray, Steve Fryer. Graphics and animation tonight held by Matt Buckwalter. And our slow motion and instant replay and the big Oriole fan, Krista Campbell. The camera control operator, of course, is Renee Camden, and audio is Greg Lesko. The director, the big man, the executive producer himself, we referred to him several times tonight, Andy Foley. I'm Paul Rowe, along with Frank Edgar, Brent Musgrove, and down on the field, our field analyst, Bob Hintz.
Well, Hampton's going to get the ball first here in the first half. And offense tonight, at center, Justin Red. The guards, Ezekiel Volk and Eric Chrissy. The tackles, Frank Ball and Kenneth Ford. Daz Newsom gets a start at flanker. Cal Key on the other side in the flex. Tyquan Wilkins, a senior at split end. Vincent Barrett in the fullback. Demetrius Strickland in the backfield as well. And Jovan Quillen, the big quarterback for the Crabbers. Daz Newsom, of course, has the brother. It's up at Virginia Tech now. Dion Newsom is doing such a good job up in Blacksburg.
Short kickoff there, Frank, to about the 34-yard line. And it's being returned and broken tackles here across midfield by the Crabbers. Not a very long kick, but a decent return across midfield where the Crabbers will take over 1st and 10 in Bethel territory.
That's Chase Deaton with the kickoff. I'm not sure if that was a intentional onside kick or just a miss-hit, but Crabbers' good starting position. Here's the Bruin defense. Ian Bell, Desmond Denny, Aaron Edwards, and Quentin Lee at the linebackers. The line, Braden Slade, Josh Williams, Josh Hagans, and Corey Ricks. Cornerbacks T.C. Chesley and Josh Owusu, and the safety there, and I just missed his name. Jeremiah Owusu is who I had started.
On the first play, looks like we've got Vincent Barrett that carried the ball, number 15 maybe, or was that number 12?
I was looking at the starting line, 12.
15, Barrett.
Vincent Barrett. Barrett's going to get the bulk of the calls, the carries tonight. See that spread offense that Mike Smith was talking about.
Oh, yeah, way out there. Jovan Quillen way back there in a shotgun formation. He's back to pass. He lets it go to the right sideline. He's got an open receiver and a great catch. Looked like number 6. Get you.
Maybe Daz Newsome, number 5, yes.
Number 5. Daz Newsome, number 5. Great catch, a perfect throw. Right
perfect
on the
throw,
money.
good coverage by the cornerback. Newsome, the sophomore, like his brother, very quick, good hands. You're going to see a replay here, Paul. Newsome at the top of your screen. Beautiful throw by Quillen. He just lays it over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Good play all around.
So Hampton getting deep into Bethel territory at about the 8-yard line. Quillen with it, and he keeps it himself around the left side, and he's got pay dirt in front of him. Touchdown for the Crabbers.
Yeah, I don't think I need Brent to tell you that was a 3-play drive. Took 1 minute and 15 seconds. He can put his stopwatch down there. That's Jovan Quillen. When you see the speed, you see him accelerate around the corner. A spectacular speed by the quarterback. His 20th rushing touchdown.
Oh, and great blocking on the front line. Did you see that? They just opened up that entire side for him.
Fake inside to Barrett, and then right around the corner. Here's Bo Lomax for the extra point.
And Bolo with plenty of distance, plenty of leg, and that one is going to be right through the uprights. So here we are, just 10:45 left in the first half. Hampton strikes quickly and jumps out to a 7-0 lead on 3 plays, as Frank told you. So we got another high-powered game going here, Frank.
Well, that's quick. I know Bubba Hooker. That's quick. Yeah, here's the play here. You see the fake to Barrett, and here he comes around. Good block there on the corner by the receiver. Quillen's just so fast that you can't catch him in the open field.
How close were we on the time there, Ben? 1:15, he was right on the money.
That was an easy one for me, too. Easy math.
Oh, my goodness, folks. You're in for one tonight. I'll tell you what, that reminds me of the first game we had this year when it was Kickatan and Hampton. They just went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Let's see how the Bruins respond to this quick attack by the Crabbers tonight.
Well, they certainly hope they're going to go back and forth here. They're going to need to catch up here.
TC Chisley on your screen there. Back deep for the Bruins.
Another directed kick by the kicker. That one, Bo Lomax kicked right out of bounds. I'm not sure of the play. Obviously kicking away from Chisley. Quite the returner. Good starting position for the Bruins.
Illegal procedure, Hampton.
And if you didn't hear that at home, we'll never hear again.
We heard that one. Whoa.
Good starting position for the Bruins on their own 35-yard line. Be a kick is out of bounds by Lomax, so here come the Bruins. Bo Morgan wearing the number 5 there.
Number 9, Quentin Lee, the lone back for the Bruins. He's got 2 receivers to the top of the screen, 1 slot to your right. In motion, he gives it to Quentin Lee. He tries the middle and doesn't get very much there as the Crabbers stuff that one.
Well, Lee's had quite the season with 935 yards on 160 carries, 14 touchdowns for Quentin Lee. Lee, a senior, 5'10", 210-pounder. Taking the ball from that 6'4" Bo Morgan, who stands out in any crowd.
He does. I'll tell you what, down on the field that one night I looked at him, that guy is tall.
There's that big line. One of our favorite, Travis Maxwell, the guard there, 329-pound youngster, playing the right guard.
Move. Morgan gets the ball. He's back to pass this time. Throws a short one to the left side to number 2, Ian Bell. He'll pick up a couple of yards.
Well, time is what Morgan needs, and if his line can give him just a little bit. You know, we watched him against Phoebus. It's been 3 weeks ago, wasn't it? It was 3 weeks ago, and we saw them running to the right behind Maxwell. And behind, I believe it's Corey Ricks on that side. Maybe Philip Howard, we'll see. Number 55 is Howard, Philip Howard. So Howard and Maxwell on the right. That's where they had some success against the Phantom. Let's see if they try to do that tonight.
Morgan back again.
They do go right behind him.
Lee, and he looks like he's going to get the first down easily there, like you said, right behind those two guys that open up that hole.
Yeah, when Maxwell moves downfield, it's almost like a planet going by. You see grass come off the field and follow him. He can pull people down. When that time he pulled Quentin Lee about 3 yards downfield and picked up the first down.
But that's the kind of lineman you want when you're a running back. You want to be able to follow somebody who's going to clear out a hole for you and give you the yardage you need. And Maxwell's been doing that play after play, game after game.
Well, one thing, the running backs love to get behind those big linemen.
Oh, yes.
And hide. You could hide a family of 4 behind Maxwell and not see him. He's quite the right. Look at him at right guard there, and wearing number 77.
Morgan back to throw on first down. Can't find anybody. He's going to take it himself. He bounces around in the backfield, loses the ball. Let's see if he gets it back. I think somebody else on Bethel covered it.
Yeah, the 2 linemen, number 62. I think it ended up underneath him.
Good heads-up play by the Bethel team to get that ball back.
William Drinkard in the offensive line tonight for the Bruins. Number 62. Nothing downfield. And this ball knocked down.
There it is. Looks like number 77.
Yes, Maxwell.
Maxwell picked that one up.
But Rodney Addison knocked it out. The right guard, the left guard.
Quentin Lee gets it. He tries off the right side, and he'll pick up a couple of yards. Looks like he'll get back close to the line of scrimmage. Original.
Well, Bethel continue to try to pound that right side, and they should.
Well, it's worked for them game after game. So until somebody can stop it, they'll work it.
For Crabber defender Elijah Conliffe there, number 9. Got his hands full against the Howard and Maxwell side.
3rd and long for Morgan. He's back to pass, looking over to the left-hand side. Can't find anybody. Comes back right and throws it over the head. Is that number?
Chris Loudon, I think number 18. He was overthrown. Yeah. To Loudon.
I think Loudon made an adjustment, and Morgan didn't pick that up because it looked like Loudon was coming back for the ball to help out the quarterback, who looked like he was in trouble a little bit there.
Well, good defensive line pressure by the Crabbers. Able to make Morgan rush a little bit.
Bruins in punt formation. Short punt, bounces around the 30 and dribbles down to about the 27, 28.
Worst field position for the Crabbers all night.
Yeah.
Back at the 28.
So Hampton will take over 1st and 10, about the 28-yard line.
Well, I think the Bruins, they didn't get a sustained drive for a score, but they held the ball a little bit, gave everybody a little breather. Now let's see if their defense can come back and have a little more success against the Crabbers.
Hampton spread across the field. 1 man in motion. Quillen gets it. He takes it himself, pitches back.
That's Barrett.
Barrett can't get outside that corner like he wanted to, but he tried. It was a good developing play, but good defense by the Bruins to shut shut that down on the outer corner.
Josh Higgins, who doesn't look like it, but he's a defensive lineman. You see how quick he is, able to chase down Barrett and make the tackle, holding Barrett to just a 3-yard pickup.
Barrett 3 yards, 97 for the Crabbers.
Quillen commits and pitches. Good run down by Higgins there.
Quillen back to pass, throwing deep toward this end and just off the hands of the receiver, and that looks like number 11, Cal Key. Nice pass, just a little long.
And not the sharpest of route. Cal Key, a very good and experienced receiver. That time that tangled up a little bit with the defender, went a little round, and that 1 or 2 steps out of the way may have cost him a completion. And that's a bad sign for the Bruins when we see Jovan Quillen making the pinpoint passes downfield like that.
Yeah, because he's got some really speedy receivers we've seen.
Well, look for Wilkins here, Taekwon Wilkins lining up.
Well, you know what I'm looking for?
Too much time are you looking for too much time with the Crabbers? Because you don't have to wait long usually.
Looking for, no, I'm looking for that bubble pass. The little bubble screen pass that Wilkins is famous for.
Looks like, did they get a timeout? They did get a timeout. The back judge clearly dropped his flag, but the timeout came first.
All right, 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Hampton Crabbers out to a quick 7-0 lead. Crabbers with the ball, trying to move back downfield again. Bethel's defense trying to get reoriented and back on schedule.
Well, it's the first real fall night we've had. You know, here in southeastern Virginia, we're so lucky. We get a nice long summer, and every time that you know Labor Day comes around, you think summer's over. It's not. You get another couple of months. Looks like we're going to have some crisp weather here this weekend. Maybe some blustery weather tomorrow night at Halloween.
I like the weather here in Virginia, but one thing I don't like is you get up in the morning and it's 40 degrees. You come home in the evening and it's 70 or 80 degrees. So
gives your heat pump it's like a multiple choice.
Oh, yeah, it is. Third down now with Quillen deep in his own backfield. Back to pass, looking left, throwing way deep. And there he is. There he is.
Taekwon Wilkins.
There he is.
Yep.
We just talked about him. Talk about speed, talk about hands. The man's got it.
You know, it's funny when you see Taekwon. Taekwon plays baseball as well, and he's a very good outfielder and speedy on the bases. But his football skills have developed so much over the past 2 years. It's just remarkable, and he's got great hands. You're right to mention that. You see such secure hands, he's going to kneel down and be the holder here for Bo Lomax. Those two have been working together now 3 years in this kicker and holder relationship.
Bolo, normally a soccer player, puts it up, and of course it goes right through the crossbars.
Brett Musgrove trying to figure out how much under a minute that drive took. I believe it's 57 seconds.
That's why they taught you math in high school, right?
Three plays again. Here's another replay here, and you can see Wilkins. Quillen actually been talking to Cal Keefe from the line of scrimmage, but Wilkins told him he could beat him, and he did. And drops it right in there. 3 plays, 69 yards, in what, 57 seconds? Oh, that's just the TV. Yeah.
69 yards.
Well, outstanding pass by Jovan Quillen.
Yes, it was.
Quillen, who's moved over 1,000 yards. And I'm going to correct this stat because Dave Johnson, the Daily Press, our good friend down there, down the way here in Press Row. I think he does 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards passing for Quillen this year.
Jovan?
I believe so.
Well, congratulations.
Moved across those lines. Not too many people have done that.
That's good.
Quillen now close to 1,300 yards in passing.
Brent was just saying 25 seconds on the
25 seconds on the 3 plays, 25 seconds. Got mass confusion in the middle, but here comes the
breaks
Bethel runner.
loose, and he's got the sideline if he can get there. He's got Green in front of him. Down to about the 13, 14-yard line.
The name we don't call very often with the ball, Josh Owusu.
And I'll tell you what, Frank, he did a great job as he came up the middle, broke some tackles, and somehow or another got loose, found that edge, and just took off for the sideline.
We're going to see what that kick like. Got one of the best kickers in the league, and seems to be directing the kick where to go rather than just kicking away.
That must be something new this year, that the kickers are kicking in certain places because they're not just kicking it deep anymore.
Well, we should see that again, but we'll go right here because the Bruins are knocking on the door.
Bo Morgan back with the ball, looks left for a pass, then looks back across the middle, and it's almost intercepted by the Crabbers. And for a moment there, it looked like the receiver, Darrell Brown, for the Bethel Bruins was open, but the pass was not there.
Well, they looked, Brown looked kind of like the defender there. Here's the Bethel offense, of course. Bo Morgan at quarterback, the running back Quentin Lee. Wide receivers Ian Bell, number 2, Darrell Brown, number 10, T.C. Chisley, number 15. The line, Drew Barker at center, Rodney Addison and Travis Maxwell, the guards. Philip Howard and Corey Ricks, the tackles, and the flanker Josh Owusu, who just ran that kickback.
And that was Quentin Lee, the running back, down to the 10-yard line for the Bethel Bruins, where he'll pick up about 5 yards on the play.
This is where you're going to see the line play right here. As the Crabbers going to have to stiffen to keep the Bruins out of the end zone.
And the Bruins are going to have to pick up because they need to make a score here.
Here's the Crabber defense. The guards, Eric Christie and Linwood Johnson. The ends, Elijah Conliff and Keontae Jones. Linebackers, Rashad Taylor, Vincent Barrett, Ricky Hatcher, and Cal Key. Daz Newsom on one corner, Tyquan Wilkins on the other, and Joshua Foster in the safety spot.
And there's Bo Morgan back to pass. He couldn't find a receiver, and like he did once before against Phoebus, he tucked it under and he takes it down inside the 5-yard line where he'll get the first down for the Bethel Bruins. And there's the running we talked about earlier. Bo Morgan, you've got to keep your eye on him, even though he's back to pass.
Well, that run back on the kick, very important now as the Bruins try to get back in this game. Still hadn't had 7 minutes gone here in the first quarter. It's 14-0, so the Bruins need the touchdown right here. Good picture right there. It's Steve Fryer, Randy Bagoli on the camera. Wonderful picture.
First and goal, and there goes Quentin Lee off the right-hand side, and he is down to about the 1-yard line, it looks like from here, Frank, the 1-yard line. Good run by Quentin Lee.
And good stop by the Crabber line. Now can they hold him 3 more times? Navarro Price, a sophomore, backup quarterback. We saw him taking some snaps in warm-up.
Three in the backfield. Bo Morgan gets it, hands it off to Quentin Lee, and this time he is hit immediately by 3 Crabbers on the defense who just got in there.
Anton Brown had him at the feet, and it looks like Ricky Hatcher had him up top. So good stop by the 2 Crabbers. And to get Lee across. Chase Deaton on the kick for the Bruins.
The center. The kick is up, and it looks like it goes right through for the point after. So, with 4 minutes to go here in just the first quarter at Darling Stadium on October the 30th, 2014, the Bruins put up 7 points, and now the score, Hampton 14, Bethel 7.
Well, it's the longest scoring drive of the night right there. At least it had to be at least 2 minutes. Brent Musgrove down there, he doesn't even have the stopwatch out. I think he's using beads on a string. 2 minutes and
2:49.
It took twice as many plays as both of the Crabber drive.
And here's the touchdown
Watch the
replay.
right side.
Look at the line.
And you see it ends up on the bottom. It's a 329-pound guard. There he goes. You probably felt it.
And did you see Philip Howard, number 55? Just a nice close block right there. Just a nice close block on the outside.
The 2 big guys doing the job. Bethel climbs back in it. They're down a touchdown. Let's see if the Bethel kicker Deaton is going to kick it further this time.
Evan Pitcavage back there along with Wilkins for the Crabbers. This will be the first time they've had a kickoff since the beginning of the game. And a little bit of a short kick again, taking it about the 33, and he'll be down at about the 44. That was
Cal Key.
Cal Key, number 11.
Key's a senior for the Crabbers. His second year, I believe, playing with the Crabbers. Split time with, I think he was at Nansemond River last year, or Kings Fork, one of those two. He has moved and moved back.
Good young player.
Yes. Yeah, very good young player. Another baseball player plays for the Crabbers.
Danny Mitchell, who's of course assistant coach here, is also the baseball coach, gets a lot of the football players to get on to the baseball team, which really helps Hampton in their baseball quest.
Very much a small ball baseball coach, so he likes the guys that with some speed.
Yes, he does.
Can run on the bunts.
Quillen gets it, keeps it himself, comes off the left side, splits 2 tacklers, and gets down to about the 40-yard line for about a 5-yard gain.
Oh, good run by Quillen, and good stop by the Bruins, considering how things have gone so far. Holding Quillen to 5 yards.
Hampton Crabbers with their, third possession there, Brett? Moving again. They've scored on their first 2. They've still got 3 minutes and 20-some seconds left in this quarter.
It's Newsom in motion.
Low center, a pitch. And across the 40-yard line goes Barrett. So he'll pick up about a 2-yard gain.
Good stop by the athletic front line of the Bruins. Didn't catch a number, but it was good grab of the feet.
Grabbing and tackling, that's something that all young kids need to work on.
It's got to be frightening to see Jovan Quillen coming around the corner, because you know the one thing about it, if you go for the back, Quillen's going to beat you inside, and it'd be hard to catch him. So that's a good play.
As fast as he is.
Wilkins man-to-man here at the bottom of your screen. There goes Key in motion.
Quillen's got it again, this time a straight quarterback keeper off the right-hand side. Looks like he's going to get the first down.
That time, Vincent Barrett led the way with a block. Quillen right behind him.
That's one of the dangerous things about Quillen. You know, we know he can pass, but my gosh, the kid can run.
He comes in with a tremendous amount of yards on the ground. Over now 1,100 yards for Quillen on the ground. 20 touchdowns.
Trips to the left-hand side. Quillen gets it and hands it off to,
Barrett
again?
You'll see Barrett most of the time. Then Ricky Hatcher will come in and carry the ball. That's Barrett that time.
Yep.
Demetrius Strickland, or as Coach Smith said in his interview, D, has been injured early in the season. We thought we may see him tonight, but now we're here and we're not. So you're going to see Ricky Hatcher in relief of Barrett.
He's in there right now. Didn't I see Hatcher?
No, Barrett's
Barrett
in there.
Go out? I thought he went out. Quillen again takes it himself off the right-hand side, splits 2 tacklers, and he is close to another first down as he gets across the 45.
You know, we called the Hampton Phoebus game a month or so ago, and I had the privilege of being on the sideline and could watch Jovan Quillen's speed firsthand. It's hard to tell from up here in the booth and even on the television screen, but that time it looked like he was shot out of a gun. I mean, there's not but a little tiny lane there, and he zips through it for 9 yards.
Going for the first down, and he gets it.
That time running behind Frank Ball. Looks like Eric Crispy.
So Hampton still moving the ball as they possess it here at about the 43-yard line of the Bruins. Time growing short here in the first quarter.
Well, the first time the Crabbers have had to work on offense, and they make their way methodically down the field here. Bethel trying to get a stop.
This time Quillen underneath center. We've got a whistle and a flag.
There's a too much time penalty.
Dead ball, delay, Hampton.
And we watched the Crabbers for many years, and that is one penalty that they have never really been able to avoid. It's too much time.
Oh, my goodness.
Even Ronald Curry ran to the sideline to get his play.
Yep. So they'll try it again. This time it's 1st and 15. Underneath the center is Quillen, and he gives it off to number 5, and that is Daz Newsome.
The sophomore brother of Deion Newsome, who's up at Virginia Tech now. Same build, thin, very fast. First time we see him in the backfield this year, at least the games we've covered.
I thought I saw him once before in the backfield. But I don't want to quote on it.
That's like saying trying to see the flash. Well, that's in the first quarter. Hampton leads 14-7. Hampton with 2 3-play drives, scored quickly, got out in front 14-0. Bethel with a nice run back by Josh Owusu on a kick, able to push it over.
All right now let's go to our on-field analyst, Mr. Bob Hintz. Bob. They do. And, Bob, I just got some information here up in the booth that you might want to be privy to. This is a Bethel game, and I got word that Allen Iverson might be here somewhere. If you can find him along the sideline somewhere.
Well, that pass caught by Tyquan Wilkins, and he goes nowhere but backwards. That's a loss of about 8 yards.
Wrong direction for the Crabbers to be going.
Well, they did just switch in, so maybe that threw him off a little bit. But Tyquan caught it behind him and then really didn't get a chance to look forward. He was pushed straight back.
3rd down now, long 16 yards to go. Jovan Quillen, I would imagine he's going to be looking downfield to pass, and we're going to get another flag. And
big number 75, Frank Ball, jumped that time, the left tackle.
Dead ball, false start, Bethel. Still 3rd down.
Loss of 8 on the pass and 2 5-yard penalties. Crabbers going the same way they were going in the first quarter with about the same pace, but the wrong way now here in the second.
Yeah, and I think he meant Hampton false start. He said Bethel. I think he meant Hampton because it went against Hampton. 3rd and a long. Quillen back deep.
Got 2 men on 1 over here. If he sees it to the
got
right,
he's got an open man. If he can find him, and he just gets it over his head near the 30-yard line. And that looked like Daz Newsome.
You know, it was a shame for the Crabbers that time. Wilkins and Newsome had one man covering the 2 of them, and yet they stayed so close together. The one man did a great job in covering the 2 of them. The ball, there wasn't enough distinction between the routes. Quillen recognized it, but was not able to pick out a receiver. So here we're going to see Bo Lomax do the punting that Coach Smith was talking about when he was talking with Brent.
Back deep, looks like Darrell Brown, number 10 for the Bruins. Oh, bad center. Bo picks it up. Nice punt. Nice punt. Drives it back to the 10, and it's going to roll into the end zone. Whoa. About a 60-yard punt.
That's a good kick by Bo Lomax.
Bad center. He had to pick it up off the ground and then put his foot into it and did a great job of that.
Well, I think it surprised the coverage. Cal Key was right behind the ball. I think if he had known it was going to be that deep of a punt, he could have downed it, but it's going to come out to the 20 for the Bruins. And they start now on a drive trying to tie this game up, trailing 14-7.
Remember, you're watching LSC here at Darling Stadium, October the 30th, 2014. The Bethel Bruins and the Hampton Crabbers on a beautiful, beautiful fall evening. Bo Morgan tosses to Quentin Lee, who takes the left side and across the 20-yard line to about the 23.
Keontae Jones there with a nice grab of the running back. Kind of a forward toss to Lee. Lee's a big back. I mean, he said he's 5 foot 10 inches tall, but it's a very solid young man. He comes in and he has a chance to cross the 1,000-yard mark tonight. He started the night at 935 yards.
Oh, we'll keep our eye on that then.
And now 15 touchdowns for Lee. Bo Morgan looking at his receivers, wondering if they've called the same play. Bubba Hooker also wondering that, called timeout.
Probably a smart thing to do. It looked like there was a little confusion in Morgan's eyes. So that'll be a timeout here on the field with about 10:14 to go in the first half here at Darling Stadium.
Good shot of Coach Danny Mitchell talking to his defense.
The red and white of the Hampton Crabbers against the green and gold Bethel Bruins.
And some great
timeout, I believe, was by Bethel.
A little confusion there. Think of all the great games between Bethel and Hampton. That was a big game, starting when Bethel opened in '68. They won the state title in '75 and '76, didn't they?
And the last
behind
one was
Jerry Holmes.
Oh man, Jerry Holmes! What a speedy guy he was. Good gracious!
They were here the other night when we last called them. They had that team
Morgan back to drop, getting good protection. Throws it short across the middle, and it's complete.
That's Ian Bell.
Ian Bell, number 2.
Well, it looked like a much longer play than it was, but he like Tyquan Wilkins in the last drive for the Crabbers. He too kind of headed backwards on that. He had to come back for the ball.
Well, Morgan had to back up a little bit. He was getting good protection from his line, no pressure, but he backed up a little bit looking for the receivers and then found Bell across the middle and had to come back to him. So first down now for the Bethel Bruins. 2 receivers up to the top of the screen. And he'll go quickly to that right side, number 15, T.C. Chisley.
Good stop by Vincent Barrett. One hand brought him down.
About a yard and a half on the pickup for the Bruins. Brings up second down. (14-7), Crabbers over the Bruins.
Good shot of Bo Morgan there.
And Morgan gets it off to Quentin Lee, and he finds a hole and scoots out past the 45-yard line, or to the 45-yard line.
Maybe a penalty on the tackle there. We saw Quentin Lee's neck bend a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a discussion about whether it's a horse collar tackle, I think.
Yeah, I saw the flag go out, and I was trying to look down there over the screen to see what was going on. Personal
face mask. Yeah, well, I knew his neck bent in an unnatural fashion. I just don't know. I couldn't see it.
Personal foul, face mask, Hampton. First down.
Well, that's a doozy of a penalty.
Yep, and that takes the ball down to about the 40-yard line of the Crabbers. Gives Bethel good field position with first down now in Crabber territory. Morgan hands it off to nobody and keeps it himself around the left side and gets down just past the 35-yard line.
Tackle made by Steve Fryer, our cameraman.
Good old Steve. He's been down there for many, many years, hasn't he?
He'll stay a little further off field.
Bo Morgan, the quarterback. There you see his stats on the screen in front of you. Great graphics we have here at LSC. Second and short as Morgan gets set to take it. There's movement on the Crabber line there. Looks like we're going to have an offsides. It's probably.
You'll see that play just before
Dead
the
ball,
penalty.
Encroachment, Hampton.
And it looks remarkably like.
First down.
There it comes.
There it is.
Great camera work. No, that's
Great camera work
kind of
on
a thrilling
clapping for
replay
the
there.
penalty.
Yeah. That's a good shot of those two guys. We've had a couple of good shots down there. Steve's getting some good ones of Lee and Morgan, who were playing their last season together in high school.
Back to pass is Morgan. He's looking to the left side where he's got number 10 in the end zone, and that is Darryl Brown. What a great pass that was.
Now that's unusual for Brown. Brown, the leading receiver for the Bethel Bruins, with 471 yards coming in tonight on 26 receptions. There's a penalty in the line. Looks like a hold.
That was right in his hands.
Well,
great pass.
The defender was right on him, and I'm sure that's what disrupted him.
Bethel. Still first down.
Just distracted him enough as that ball dropped in his hands. We've seen some great passes tonight from Morgan and from Quillen.
But unfortunately, if he caught it, they would have come back with the holding penalty.
See if we got a good shot of him. Yeah, it's a shame we don't have the microphone up here on the coaches at the end for Bethel, because let's just say in a polite way, they questioned where the receiver was going. Apparently, Bo Morgan did too. It was a receiver that was not where he was supposed to be, and Morgan, no place to go that time.
You know, that last play, Morgan was brought down out about the line of scrimmage. So we'll have a second and long yardage.
Bo Morgan with 10 touchdowns on the year through the air.
4 receivers, 1 man in the backfield along with Morgan. He hands it off to Quentin Lee, who goes off the right side and just over the 40-yard line to about the 39.
Well, the Bruins seem to be able to pick up 5 yards every time they go behind Howard and Maxwell.
The problem is when they do that, they've got to go 25 yards to get the first down. Passing situation here, 3rd and long with the ball on the 39. We'll see what Morgan has up his sleeve and what Bubba Hooker has called as a play.
Bryce Scott, number 14, checks in for the Bruins, brings the play in. He's going to come here to the bottom of the screen.
We're going to have trips to this side. I would expect a pass of some sort. We're going to have a whistle, though, and a flag.
Too much time.
Dead ball, delay, Bethel.
You know, 5 yards doesn't sound like a lot on a 100-yard field, but it can really hurt a drive.
It really can. I mean, 5 yards, I mean, 1 step can hurt a play. And that's a lot of steps when you got 5 yards.
Yeah, they got about 25 giant steps to get a first down.
Morgan passes to Hampton, a defender who's got a clear road to the end zone. There's nobody anywhere near him, and he's going to take this one all the way back about 70 yards for a touchdown.
Jovan Quillen picks it off. You can see how fast he is, and the pass was thrown by Navarro Price, the sophomore quarterback for the Bruins.
And I'm trying to figure out who he's trying to pass it to.
Interesting. I'm trying to find Morgan. We'll have to take a look at that again. All of a sudden, the ball ends up in the hands of Navarro Price, the sophomore quarterback. And he makes the throw downfield right into the hands of Quillen.
And Quillen probably looked as surprised as I did. And he just took one look down the field and realized there's nothing there in front of me. I could get a bus and drive it, and he pretty much did. But Quillen, as fast as he is, didn't take but a second or two to get down to the end zone, and that was it.
Morgan's over here near the bench. Don't know if he got hurt or they just had a trick play on.
Bolo with a kick that's up and good. So the Crabbers on the scoreboard again, this time with their defense as Quillen takes it back. Brent, was that about 70 yards? 78 yard pass interception for the Crabbers. The score now 21-7 in favor of the Hampton Crabbers with 6:36 left in the half here at Darling Stadium, October the 30th, 2014. All right now let's go down to our analyst Bob Hintz on the field. Bob. Ooh.
He was telling me that Ricky, true freshman, Texas is doing a great job, and Rio is coaching over Virginia State. So he's real happy with it, and he says this is a great team, this special team this year. They're so tickled with Coach Bubba Hooker. He said, we'll come to the games whether our kids are playing or not.
Now that's great to hear about Ricky Walker. I always liked him. He's a very, very good player. He really is. And Bob, one question for you real quick if you're still there. On that last play, Morgan threw the ball, and I was trying to figure out who he was throwing it to. Did you see any other Bethel receivers down in that area where Quillen was?
Illegal procedure, Hampton.
Yeah, we're going to need we'll need a replay, Bob, because it was the Price that threw it. I saw number 1 let go of that ball. Let's see if we can see from the replay. No, it's Price. And he just wings it out to the right. Yeah, he was throwing to T.C. Chisley on the right side and just threw it too far inside. And Quillen, as you can see, who lost out to that actor on the Flash show by what, half a step. My goodness, he's fast.
He is that.
Testing.
That time, no room for Lee for Bethel. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. Really nothing there. Second down and 10 for the Bruins. So Price comes in. We saw number 14, Bryce Scott, come in. So they had a couple of new faces in that play for Bethel. And maybe tried. Problem is Price's pass too far away from the receiver, picked off by Quillen, and the Crabbers back up by 14.
And Bo Morgan back in there in the backfield for the Bruins. A quick out pass off the hands and picked off by the Crabbers again.
And it's Vincent Barrett on the interception.
So the passing game is just not faring really well for the Bruins at this time as they get picked off again.
I'm sure it's what Coach Hooker just told him. We're not faring really well. In a nice way. He's not going to be happy with that.
No, not at all.
Bounce up in the air, and Barrett comes down with it. Now the Crabbers on a short field. Here you see it here, just trying to go over to Ian Bell. A little high to Bell, and he comes off the tape and right in the hands of Vincent Barrett.
So once again, the Crabbers with the ball deep in Bethel territory. Quillen hands it off. Looks like number 2 gets it this time. Strickland in there now.
Demetrius Strickland gets the carry. That's the first time we've seen him in many weeks, so good to see him back. You really have to play whoever's in the backfield and Quillen. You got to play both of them because Quillen's so good at hiding the handoff. He can stick it in, pull it out before the running back separates from him. And you got to tackle both of them. A little bit of confusion is the Crabbers, either that or they've called a play where they run in circles.
No, I think
they
had 5 people in the backfield there, and they weren't sure where to go. And they did the best thing by taking a timeout here.
Square dancing activity right there, and I'm sure Mike Smith not happy with that.
Not at all.
Timeout Hampton as they go over and straighten that out. I'm sure those are pleasant conversations.
Well, his hat's still facing forward,
on, yeah,
so you're okay. You're okay.
Yeah, he and his crew there, Danny Mitchell, Alvis, man, what a terrific run by the Crabbers over the years. The two of them and worked together and put some great teams on the field. Well, here come the Crabbers back up. Good shot there, Javon Quillen. We never see Quillen. In fact, we never see him without his helmet because he's always on the field. Probably be a nice guy to interview. We can get Bob down there between quarters. You don't get to see young Mr. Quillen.
Quillen back to pass, looks over in the corner to a wide open receiver, and the ball just off his hands. That was number 5, Daz Newsome.
Jeremiah Owusu on the defense there, the safety for the Bruins. And I thought for a minute he had just as good a chance of picking that off as the receiver did of catching it.
Well, that one kind of developed slow. Newsome was out there in good shape and was wide open. I think the pass was just a little slow coming because he was open, and then boom.
Daz Newsome, see how athletic he is. Owusu on the defense.
Third down now. We've got another timeout by the Crabbers with 5:04 left here in the second half at Darling Stadium.
Now there's a Owusu brother, Jeremiah, sophomore, 6'2", 175 pound. His brother Josh, a junior, 6 foot, 185. So suffice it to say that the grocery bill at the Owusu house is pretty large. Those two young men, we've seen them on a basketball court. Now we see them on the football field playing together.
All right, once again, let's go down to our analyst in the field, Mr. Bob Hintz. Bob.
Hey, guys, I heard you talking about Newsome and all. Of course, his brother up playing for Tech, but his dad's been coaching with Mike Smith for a long, long time. You can't forget him or Simon Gupton. They've both been with Mike for over 20 years coaching. But you look at Quillen, his dad was a quarterback over at Kickitan, took him to the state championship. His grandfather took Heritage to a state championship, so he comes by a lot of athletic ability through the generations.
And there's nothing better he would like to do than to take this Crabber team to the state championship this year either.
There he is right there under center.
Swings out to the left-hand side. He's looking for the first down and looks like he's going to get it.
He'll go run the 440 and come back in time to call the next play. Runs around the Crabber golf cart there. Ronnie Thacker was a classmate of mine, a year ahead of me, I guess, at Hampton. He
wrestler?
Yes. Well, of course, Thacker. I think that's English for wrestler. The Thacker family with those great wrestlers over the years. But Ronnie had that cart that's souped up since he sadly passed away. Somebody's going to modernize it for him, but always with a big truck horn.
You don't see too much of it like you used to back when I was younger.
Had more lights on it.
Yes, it did. More noise, too.
Of course, reminds me of the crab that used to sit up above Thorpe Junior High here.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, with the flashing lights.
Quillen takes it himself, and he is hit real hard at the line of scrimmage, and he's still going to get some yardage out of this play. He was hit right there at the line and just kept on moving toward his left.
A good tackle there by Josh Williams as he just held on. He's going to have to give Quillen a quarter for that ride.
Oh my goodness.
He held on and was able to bring him down. You see how strong Quillen is. He tall, thin young man, but fast and strong.
Hey, you wouldn't expect him to take take tacklers 6 yards like he did, but he did.
Just joined that new company, Uber, a taxi company. Picking up riders and taking them 5 yards downfield.
And out without charging them anything. Under center is Quillen, and he takes a real quarterback sneak right from under center, and he'll pick up a couple of yards.
Robert Ross on the tackle, the senior for the Bruins.
There you see some of the Bruin cheerleaders. A decent shot of the crowd that we have here tonight for the Bruins.
Some of the crowd are members of the Bruin teams in the 70s and 80s there in the first couple of rows.
Quillen now with 8 carries and 52 yards in the game, and he takes it again. Quarterback sneak off the left side, and he is close to and in the end zone goes Quillen on a direct quarterback sneak right off the left side.
Well, that 5 yards and a touchdown for Jovan Quillen, who extends his lead in the number of touchdowns scored by a Peninsula District player. There's the horn you can hear in the background. Now Bo Lomax out of the hold of Tyquan Wilkins.
Frank, those were what I call real quarterback sneaks there as Bo puts the ball up again strong and deep with that leg of his for another point after completion. So with 3 minutes, 37 seconds left here on October the 30th, 2014 at Darling Stadium, you're watching LSC, where it's the Hampton Crabbers 28 and the Bethel Bruins 7.
Here we're going to see a replay of the touchdown run. See Quillen just looking for a hole.
Yeah, watch this.
And then he just bowls ahead.
Look at that.
That time, he assisted Josh Higgins back into the end zone.
You talked about him being strong. That was a good shot of how strong he was to carry those in with him.
Well, I think what defenses are finding out by this second quarter is that they cannot tackle him high. And that you would think a guy as thin as he is, you could get high and bring down, but
no,
you can't do it with Javon Quillen. You got to go for the legs.
He's strong high, and he's got very strong legs, and he keeps moving those legs. And that's what I tell the kids when you're playing, keep your legs moving all the time. And he does that. And like you said, he's so big up top, he just drags you in there with him.
He's fundamentally sound.
He's good.
Great pedigree in that family of football players. I'm sure they talk about how to do it. He certainly has listened.
Bo Lomax with a kick that's going to go to about the 24-yard line, picked up there by number 10 for the Bruins. That's Darryl Brown. He'll bring it out close to the 30-yard line.
Or in this play, close to the flag.
Close
to the top of the screen. I don't know if he's called. It got to be a block in the back, but there was, it looked like a hand that went across the face mask. Let's see which one they got.
Well, they're pointing against Bethel.
Yeah, I think it was a hold out there. A block in the back. They're going to use the hands.
Block in the back. Bethel. First down.
Talkative guy tonight, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Very short and sustained. Block in the back. Bethel.
They do a good job. We're very fortunate in the Peninsula to have such a solid group of officials.
We are, and some really good ones, too, at that. I always tell people they have a whole lot better view down there than we do up here. But, of course, we got a whole lot more opinions up here than they do down there.
Well, Bethel's got their work cut out for them here late in the second quarter. They trail by 21.
They're spread out all over the place, and Morgan back to pass, throws it complete to the 35-yard line. And that was number 90. It's Wusu.
Joshua Wusu.
Number 90, Josh Kamara making that reception in the first down for the Bruins.
Bethel trying to get that passing game back on track here with 3 minutes and a little bit left in the first half. They need to get down there and score as they're on the wrong end of a 28-7 score.
Well, they've had about a three-quarter just letdown period. They've let themselves down. Now they're back looking good.
Morgan looking to pass again, can't find anybody, and he's got some room to run. He's going to get down to about midfield before he's dragged out of bounds by the Crabbers. It looked like number 22 for the Crabbers, Anton Brown, that pushed him out of bounds. That's going to give the Bruins a first down and take them into Crabber territory.
You know, if the helmet comes off out of bounds, Morgan was trying to argue he did not have to sit out a play. The official is going to make Morgan sit out of play, so Navarro Price back in. You know, that happened in the Virginia game Saturday at Carolina, where the Carolina quarterback got his helmet torn off. They put in the backup who'd been sitting on the sideline drinking Gatorade for 3 quarters. He throws a touchdown against the Cavaliers, and they beat him. So watch out for Price here.
Well, Price, number 1 in the game now, is quarterback. He goes back looking to pass, and he throws it across the middle to about the 40-yard line. And it was number 23.
No, number 9. It was Owusu again,
Owusu 99,
who had the first down and then decided to run backwards and lost a yard. So now it's second down and 1. But you see, Price is going to be a good one. Now he threw the interception, but he did throw it straight and fast. So
yes, he did. That was what I liked.
He's got a good arm, and we saw him in the warm-ups. He looked good. Sophomore filling in for Bo Morgan, who's back.
Morgan looking at number 15 Chisley, and incomplete.
Well, good defense there by the Crabbers. TK Pittman. Both of them kind of waited for the ball to get there, and then they went at the same time. Knocked down.
That'll bring up 3rd and short for the Bruins here with about 2.5 minutes in the half. Bruins are going to need to have this first down if they want to continue this drive and have a chance to score here before the half runs out. Spread offense, and they get a Hampton Crabber defender to jump off sides. Looks like they're going to get the first down easily here.
Yeah, that's number 9, Elijah Conliffe.
Encroachment, Hampton.
Conlon
First down.
wearing the number 9 tonight, the sophomore defensive lineman, 6'3", 230. Once he got those 230 pounds going east, he couldn't stop it. Then he froze like nobody could see him. I admire him with that, but he was caught dead.
No, I didn't go anywhere. I'm here. It's all right. It's all right.
Well, the Bruins continue. They need this drive. Again, they need to try to score here in the end of the second quarter.
Morgan back again. 4 receivers out. He can't find anybody. Steps up in the pocket and hits Chisley at about the 25-yard line. Great recovery by Morgan to find a receiver open there.
Chisley, a very nice receiver. Came in with 12 receptions, 296 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They're tied for the lead on the Bethel team in receiving touchdowns with 4. He'd like to get a 5th right here on this drive and pull his team back within a couple of touchdowns.
He would that. One of the deepest drives that the Bruins have had here. And Morgan back again to pass. Finds an open receiver on the sidelines, and the ball bobbled and in and out of his hands. And that was
Josh
Owusu again.
A tough night for him so far. Made the nice catch there and then stepped backwards and lost a yard in a sure first down, and now he has that one get away from him. But he had the run back to put the Bruins down in Crabber territory and led to their only touchdown.
Second down, Morgan back again looking, and this time he is wrapped up by the Crabbers' number 9, Conliffe.
Elijah Conliffe. Elijah, the sophomore.
Morgan didn't have a chance at all that time. That was a quick penetration by the Crabber defense.
Timeout called by the Bethel. They're going to talk about, they're going to go here, I would think. 3rd or 4th down?
Third down.
Okay,
Third down, so they should be going, yeah.
Yeah, well, they just thought about it, and then they had to take a timeout. Just in case it becomes 4th down, they can go.
In case they do.
Yeah. Well, this is a big drive for the Bruins, and Morgan
It
moved
is.
them nicely. Again, they had about a 3/4 of a quarter letdown period where they got a lot of penalties called against them, had some bad plays, had the turnover, and all of a sudden they're back where they were in that drive. They had a good drive down in the Crabber end.
And they've got a chance now to get back in this game, because if they can score a touchdown here, when we come out for the second half, they're going to get the ball first, and they'll have that momentum from the first half. If they can get down there again, we've got a whole new ball game.
But you know, with them being down 21 points, it makes them one-dimensional, and that takes away Quentin Lee, and that hurts them in the long run.
And as soon as we say that, Quentin Lee will bust loose on one side and go 50 yards for the
Certainly
touchdown.
Can do it.
I'm sorry, Brent said that was, what, 30 yards too far? 20 yards too far? Looking on the left-hand side, he steps up, can't get anything out, so he's going to try himself, and he's going to not get anywhere near the first down. In fact, he's just barely going to get back toward the line of scrimmage.
Well, thank goodness they called for the timeout, because now they have a 4th down they'll probably go for. Yeah. They're always thinking ahead at Bethel. It's the home of academic excellence. Just ask the principal, Ralph Saunders. Well, they're going to call another timeout, just be sure. So a big play here for the Bruins, 4th and 11 from the Hampton 22.
1 minute, 26 seconds. You can see that on those beautiful graphics we have here at LSC.
I thought it was a good picture of Danny Mitchell giving some sound advice in his
There was a
quiet,
good
gentle
picture
voice.
of Danny Mitchell.
Yeah, they were right there on the side. I'm surprised you couldn't hear the audio.
You don't need audio from him. You could hear it from right over here.
Well, I tell you one thing, he is a terrific coach, and he certainly makes himself known to these young men, but they carry a lot away from here.
People don't realize how dedicated and how good Danny Mitchell is. I had the opportunity to work with him at a local middle school in Hampton. I have seen the work that he does in preparation for a game. It is mind-boggling.
They're going to go for the field goal here. It's going to be a 40-yarder for Chase Deaton. Got some
he's got the distance. Oh, off to the side, but he had the distance that time.
He also got hammered, and it's going to be a penalty. He got hammered on the Coaches are complaining down the road that the Crabbers had a chance to block without hitting the kicker. That time they didn't block it and smashed Chase Deaton. But he gets his job done. He picks up 15 on that broken leg, and he'll be he's okay, fortunately. But those kickers have themselves in such an exposed position because they're balanced and all their weight's on one leg, and they get hit sideways.
Personal foul.
And parents,
the kicker, Hampton.
So Deaton's going to come off.
And parents, let me rest assured, please. Frank was joking. He didn't break his leg. Didn't break his leg.
But they picked up 15 yards, which may be one of the bigger offensive plays for the Bruins in the first half. He's going to come off and talk to his coach. That's a pretty good kick for a guy who hadn't been in but twice. He's been on the field twice.
So now from about the 11-yard line with a spread offense, Morgan gives it this time to Quentin Lee, and there's nobody there. He goes right up the middle and into the end zone. And all of a sudden, we've got a different ball game, Frank. And there's that running we were talking about.
There's the run, but what a big penalty. Crabbers essentially give up that touchdown on the penalty. Quentin Lee picks up a touchdown, his second of the ball game.
Now we'll have to see how the kick goes here.
A little closer for Chase Deaton. But that's a big play.
And that kick is up and right through the bars for the extra point. So now with 1 minute and 16 seconds left here at Darling Stadium on October 30th, 2014. It's now the Hampton Crabbers 28 and the Bethel Bruins on the 9-yard touchdown.
Good
14.
picture there of Quentin Lee walking, and you'll see him here on the replay running into the end zone, and not anybody in the middle. There he goes, right up the middle.
Look at this. Nobody touched him. Nobody touched him.
You know, I think he's one of, you know, every now and then you read it. Oh, here, let's go down to Bob. Bob?
Hey, guys. Listen, when you're looking for a team to pass, you have a tendency to take some lanes and leave other lanes open, and that's what happened on that touchdown with Quentin Lee. But I've been watching these two teams play, and they'll tackle somebody, and then Vincent, number 15 for the Crabbers, will help the guy up, pat him on the back. Great sportsmanship out on both of these teams tonight.
That's good to hear, too, Bob. That's good to hear because that's what we want to promote above everything else is the good sportsmanship that the teams have here in the city of Hampton.
Another
There's
sideways
another short kickoff.
Cal Key picked it up. Picks up a couple of yards. Well, that's a huge drive for the Bruins because they're down 21 points, playing poorly. But Morgan able to put together the drive. The penalty continues the drive, and Quentin Lee finishes with the touchdown run.
I have some figures here for you from Brent Musgrove.
Is that our statistician?
That's the guy over here to my left, the handsome guy.
The guy with the ear horn trying to hear what we're saying?
That's him. Oh, there he is right there. Look at that.
Yeah,
man, he looks good on TV. Brent Musgrove, he's been doing this for about 72 years. And he's always been over here to my left, so I've been here, what, 10 days?
Well, he tells me that it's much harder now that the helmets have face masks on them. So.
But I'll tell you what, folks, without Brent Musgrove, we couldn't tell you much about this game because he keeps us on our toes about who's carrying, how many times they've carried, how many yards they have. He gives us this information before the game starts, during the game. He's constantly writing and checking on the screen to see who's out there. And besides all that, he's funny as all get out and one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet in your life, and he'll do anything for you. And I feel privileged to be here with him as we watch the replay.
Here's the play. They're going to get to Quillen. Just good defense by the Bruins. And what you're seeing is a little bit of spark from that drive. You hear the crowd come alive. It's a different team than it was early in the second quarter.
What I didn't like is what I saw him in. There he is. There he goes right up the middle. What I didn't like when I saw that replay was the way he was carrying the ball in one hand back and forth as people were trying to grab him. I would rather he would tuck that ball in and prepare for getting taken down and possibly losing the ball.
3rd and 12 now for the Crabbers. And they're going to let this half run out.
Yeah. Smart thing to do.
Well, Bethel ends the half on a big note. They get the touchdown. They draws them within 14. Sounds like a big deficit, but It is not, and it's a big difference, though, going in that locker room with having scored the last touchdown, making a good defensive play there to stall the drive here with the Crabbers at the end of the half. So,
and remember, they're going to get the ball when we come out to begin the second half, so they're going to have it again, and they could make this a 7-point ball game. Hampton Crabbers 28, Bethel Bruins 14. October the 30th, 2014 from Darling Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, hang around. We'll be right back. You're watching a great rivalry game between the Hampton Crabbers and the Bethel Bruins. And welcome back, everybody, to Darling Stadium here, October 30th, 2014. Paul Rowe along with Frank Edgar, where the Hampton Crabbers lead the Bethel Bruins by a score of 28-14 in a very interesting game.
Kind of up and down game for the Bruins for sure. Crabbers have played pretty steady. But the Bruins have played very well at times and then very poorly at times. We were talking at halftime. I can't explain it, and it's the difference in their season this year. They come in here 5-4. 4 games they haven't played very well, except the one they lost to Phoebus. They played very well and lost.
Yeah, they did.
But in this, just in the second quarter alone, you saw why they could be a playoff team, and why they shouldn't be a playoff team. So just a mixed bag. I'm sure Coach Hooker has instructed them on which type of football he wants them to play here in the second half.
And let's hope it's a little bit better consistently than it has been so far in this game. As you see, the Hampton Crabbers there on the sideline.
I heard we got some replays here for show the first half.
Replays
Coach
and
Hooker.
highlights of what you may have seen or maybe have missed and want a recap of, and here they are.
Here's the Javon Quillen's run for the touchdown right around the end. Couldn't catch him with a car. He's in for the first score of the ball game. Then he dropped back on the next drive. These are 2 3-play drives, and he throws the bomb to Tyquan Wilkins, who comes into the picture there with those big hands, able to scoot right by the cornerback and into the end zone, putting the Crabbers up 14-0.
Beautiful catch by
And
Wilkins.
Bethel comes alive. This is the run back. Josh Owusu breaks a few tackles. The ball kind of ends up in his hands, and thank goodness for the Bruins it did, as he runs down the field and keeps going, putting the Bruins in scoring position. And then they're going to end up with a Quentin Lee running touchdown here. You see him right behind the big guy, Travis Maxwell, and the other big guy, Philip Howard. Now we see Navarro Price back to throw. He was in real quick. May have been a trick play by the Bruins. That trick backfired.
Yes.
Javon Quillen picks it off, runs it all the way back, I think with 70-yard touchdown return. Then you see Quillen running in a little shorter. That puts the Crabbers up 28-7. Bethel looked down then, and then Bo Morgan drives his team back. Makes a nice throw to T.C. Chisley. Picks up a first down there. Bethel had a chance for a field goal. There was a penalty, and then he brings them into about the 12 and hand the ball up to Quentin Lee, and he runs it in for the touchdown. Now the Bruins with the ball here first in the half.
And the kickoff goes to the Bruins, and they'll pick up a couple of yards on the return, and they'll start just inside the 35-yard line.
Kick just a little bit longer than the flag was thrown.
Yep.
Here's your halftime stats. You see the Bruins with 10 first downs. Very surprising. Of course, the Crabbers didn't need a lot of first downs. They scored on those 2 first touchdowns. So the rushing yards even, passes double the passes in the Bruin favor, but not as many yards as the Crabbers. So total yards won by the Crabbers there, 153 to 119. 2 interceptions for the Bruins that hurt them early in the second quarter. A fumble by the Bruins.
Big time.
7 penalties on the Crabbers. They're going to have to try to trim that number here in the second half. As the Bruins, having finished with a touchdown, come out now, the penalty takes away a little bit of the luster of this start here, the second half. But they're going to get the ball at their own 25. Bo Morgan and Quentin Lee and crew see if they can't draw within 1 touchdown. They trail by 2 here at the start of the third.
And even though it's the start of the third quarter, this is going to be a big drive for the Bethel Bruins in terms of momentum, because they had the momentum as they ended the half. They need to make sure they can pick that momentum back up here as we begin the second half. with the Bruins down 14.
Well, Quentin Lee tries to go the left side that time behind Corey Ricks and Rodney Addison. Not as much room over there. He picks up a couple yards. 2nd down and 8 for the Bruins. New play being brought in now. The Bruin receiver. We saw him in that interception play. That's Bryce Scott who's bringing the play in.
Morgan and Lee in the backfield. Trips to the near side of the field. It's going to be a pass by Morgan. If he can throw it, he does. Toward the middle area. I think his intended receiver was the Bruins' number 14.
It was Bryce Scott.
Bryce Scott,
who had come in for that play and didn't. I don't know if the route wasn't run correctly or that the pass was off.
Well, it was off a little bit. Morgan was hurried by the Crabber defense on that one. Crabbers making some adjustments on defense here. Again, trips to the near side for the Bruins. Morgan back to pass, quick one over the middle. Number 15, T.C. Chisley.
Good catch by Chisley. He's hit immediately by the Crabbers. Number 30, T.K. Pittman.
Close to a first down, but it'll still be 4th and short, and it looks like the Bruins are going to go ahead and punt.
There's a good picture there. Travis Maxwell and Philip Howard, the right side of the offensive line. They did not run behind them that time, and they're going to have to punt.
Chase Deaton back to punt. Crabber's not real deep on this one.
Yeah, we haven't seen either kicker really. We've seen them more directing their kicks tonight away from the return man. And snap.
This punt just goes about 15, 20 yards, and then rolls another 10 yards, where it's picked up by Daz Newsome, and he's not going to go far at all, as the Bethel Bruins were all over that one. A real low punt that time.
That ball rolled right by Cal Key. I thought he was going to try to snatch it up and run with it. Instead, he got out of the way, and Newsome picked it up on the ground.
So now Hampton will get a chance here in the second half to see what they can do with the ball. They're nursing a 28-14 lead.
It's a big drive here for both teams. Hampton has been in control of this game most of the night.
Both offensively and defensively.
See if Quillen comes out throwing here in the second half.
4 people in the backfield. He takes it, comes up the middle, and is hit after a yard of gaining. A yard of gaining. You like that?
I probably hope. I think he was, after that hit and short pickup, he's probably hoping he would throw it, because that time a design play for Quillen picks up almost 3 yards.
Second and long for the Hampton Crabbers.
It's been nice. I mean, they're relying on Quillen's arm, but they haven't relied on his legs as much as they have in games earlier this year, and that can wear a young man out. Both teams have a week off next week, even they make the playoffs.
Gives it off to number 15, Barrett.
Absolutely nothing there.
That was a little bit of a different play there as they put the man in motion, faked the ball to him, and then looked like Quillen was going to keep it and then hand it off to Barrett on a misdirection.
And I thought Quillen might have, I'm sure he's thinking he should have kept that one.
Yeah.
The 3rd and 8, Bruins defense stout here in the early going second half. Look for Tyquan Wilkins here. He's in the slot left. The bottom of your screen, the second one up.
Quillen back deep, looking deep. Fires to the right-hand side where it's caught.
There's Newsome.
Just over the 40-yard line, and Newsome gets another 5 or 6 yards with a good little run there after the catch.
Yeah, that time Quillen had several receivers open as the Bruins were in a very spread out zone.
All inside the 35.
Receivers right up the seams. Quillen with plenty of time. Nice throw over the middle. He's thrown it well tonight.
Yes, he
and Newsome.
Look at that. Nice job.
That was that ballroom dancing class helped him out on that one. That was very smooth.
Spread offense. Newsom back deep in the shotgun, takes it himself, stiff arms one man, gets over the 30-yard line, down to about the 25, 24-yard line. Good running by Quillen again.
Tiptoe through the tulips that time, picked up 10 yards.
Tiptoe through the tulips in the garden.
The listening audience doesn't remember Tiny Tim.
Oh, man. He's not so tiny anymore. Old. Look at Brent. Your ears are okay, Brent. Your ears are okay. Remember, you're going to be here tomorrow. The truck just said, ignore the radio interference, ignore it. Uh-oh. And Quillen kind of stumbled on that, where he was going to hand off and decided to keep it himself, and then was tackled immediately by the Bruin defense that was in the backfield of the Crabbers. And Quillen stumbled a little bit, and that was about it for him.
Well, Demetrius Strickland in the backfield, a couple times he's been in the game tonight. First time we've seen him in several weeks, and it may have been a miscommunication there. Quillen ended up with the ball and two defenders right in his face. Nowhere for him to go.
Did it look to you like Quillen was a little surprised that he had the ball there?
Shocked, I would say shocked, yes.
That's what I thought. Second and long. Quillen flips it to Barrett. Barrett goes around the right side, gets by one tackler, gets inside the 25-yard line, down close to the 20.
All for naught. It's going to come back on a holding call. Flag gets repositioned to the 30. So that's going to come back 10.
And that's going to put a little bit of a hold on this drive for the Crabbers.
Pardon the pun.
Was that a pun?
You're a history teacher, not an English teacher.
Holding Hampton. Still second down.
So back to the 40 go the Crabbers, but they get the down again. Second and roughly, what, 25?
Yes. 25 exactly, looks like to me.
Thought you were going to tell me you're not a math teacher either.
No, but actually I taught English for about 8 years.
There you go.
Along with social studies. Everybody stacked up at the top of the screen for Quillen, and he drops back and looks to the left side and hits a wide open receiver. That looks like number 11.
Cal Key, who just had that foot go out of bounds. Right about the 2.5, 3, right on the 3. Good hands. Didn't see the receiver open. It was good defense. Crabber's going to speed it up here. Try to stick it in before the Bruins can get set.
It was a good running route by Cal Key and a good pickup by Quillen to find him there. Quillen under the center now, and there's the quarterback keeper off the right side. He's got a wide open lane, and he just shoots right through into the end zone. And once again, very quickly here in the half, Hampton strikes again.
Well, you know, that's a very good drive by the Crabbers. Very demoralizing drive for the Bruins. They were hoping to get back in this ball game. Instead, they've fallen behind by 20. With Bo Lomax on attack on another one for the Crabbers.
And that pass was a big play for the Crabbers as Bo just rockets that one right through for the point after, making the score now. Hampton Crabbers 34 and the Bethel Bruins 14. And we've just started the second half here. 6 minutes, 16 seconds left in the third quarter. It was a great pass by Quillen. I like the way he picked up the receiver, but more importantly, I like the route that the receiver ran. He did a good job of getting through. He was wide open, and then an excellent run after catching it as he turned on the speed, and I thought he was going to go all the way in. He just did get knocked
Cal
out.
Key's a little taller than the other receivers for the Crabbers. A little taller than Newsom, a little taller than Wilkins, and I thought they would start going to him more. I think you're going to see, as they go into the playoffs, you're going to see a lot more balls to Cal Key. He ran a beautiful route that time. He's got good hands, caught it in stride, and you see how fast he is.
Yes.
The Crabbers can win some games in the playoffs on speed alone between Quillen and Key and Wilkins.
Speaking of keys go to cars. Cars take you places, and one of the places people like to go is
the Grey Goose, downtown Hampton. Dana and Phil Epstein. The bakery and cafe down there, open 11 to 3 daily. Go in and get your lunch. Chicken salad is highly recommended. Of course, I had the chicken wrap today. It was delicious. they're going to have a big show as we watch Bo Lomax kick the ball over to the high jump pit. And we still haven't figured out the strategy here.
Hampton.
We've seen that 3 times now to Lomax, who, in my opinion, is clearly the first-team all-district kicker.
Frank,
no question in my mind. And yet we see him being directed to kick it that way. This isn't an erroneous kick. This is a strategy.
But why? We've seen him kick the ball 60 yards. We watch him do it before the game.
We'll have Mr. Musgrove interview Coach Smith next couple weeks from now in the playoffs, and we'll have him figure that out. No returns is what Mr. Musgrove writes on his pad, and he's correct.
And by the way, the stats he gave me just before this, and I'll do this real quick, that touchdown drive, 6 plays, 3.44 seconds.
And we'll watch Bo Morgan, who hopefully has been to the Grey Goose. Here comes Quentin Lee.
Flip to Quentin Lee to go around the right-hand side, and he's only going to get a yard or 2.
Well, we finish up down the Grey Goose. They have the Merry Christmas Darling Special. It's a Southern Harmony Spectacular featuring the Southern Bells. 3-course dinner in the show, $35 a ticket. Many nights in December. Go to the Facebook page is the best way to find them at the Grey Goose, and you can make your reservations now. These Christmas programs are outstanding. Also look for things like Breakfast with Santa, and there's actually American Girls breakfasts they have as well. So keep your eye on the schedule of the Grey Goose.
Morgan back to pass, and he throws it right into the arms of a Crabber defender.
TK Pittman,
who loses the ball. And there's another possible turnover that the Bruins don't need to make right now.
He has played very well tonight. We've called TK Pittman's name several times. That one, it was his touchdown right there, and I'm sure he's upset. He probably didn't get a lot of opportunities for that. But he's in the right place at the right time most of the game tonight.
Bruins got to be careful about their passing. That's 3 or 4 times tonight they've thrown into the arms of the defending team. Morgan not quite as sharp as he's been on other nights. Back to pass again. This time he's hit by a couple of defenders again. Up in the air, almost, in fact, possibly. We'll have to wait till we get a ruling here. No, not intercepted, but almost intercepted again by the Hampton Crabbers. That one just went up and hit several people, popped up in the air.
Well, great teamwork by the officials. I hope if you watch that at home, you'll see the officials in the back are the closer officials to the play, but they couldn't see it. And the linesman comes up and indicates the ball hit the ground. Good teamwork by the officials tonight.
And that's why I said it, and I had to stop because I had to wait because I saw the ref. They're both going at each other to make that decision.
I think all 5 of them in on that, or the 5 in the back there.
Bruins back to punt. It's going to be a fake punt. This one is going to have the first down as number 15 for the Bruins. And that's T.C. Chisley, who was back to block for the punt, took the short snap, ran it off the left-hand side, cut back up the middle, and got just over midfield for the first down for the Bruins. So the first trick play of the day.
And Chisley, in the most athletic move I've seen all night, hops off on one foot. He twisted his ankle and twisted his knee and came off on one foot. That was spectacular. I don't think I've seen that before.
An important play for the Bruins here in the second half, as they've got 3 receivers to the near side. They hand the ball off to Quentin Lee, who gets down to about the 45-yard line. A pickup of about 5 yards for the Bruins.
Well, Lee is right back to behind Travis Maxwell and Philip Howard, who open up holes for them. This is where that 5 yards a pop comes into play. If he can pick up 4 or 5 yards a carry.
Well, they need to start doing that again, and maybe that will open up the passing lanes again. But they did that, as you know, earlier in the game, coming off that right side, right behind Maxwell and Howard. And it works. It works, and they need to keep doing that.
I'll worry about Chisley. He's a big part of the offense tonight for the Bruins, and he's on the bench or he's getting his leg looked at. This time Lee goes left and runs into just a pile of grabbers.
Morgan with the handoff. Lee gets stopped cold almost.
Lee now, what, about 65 yards?
Not
70
many.
yards, but, well, they're hard-earned yards tonight.
He's got a lot of touches, but he wasn't picking up
59 yards.
Yeah, 47 was the last I heard with 10 touches.
Well, it's been hard-earned touches. 14 carries.
14 carries. So not
and the
too
little
many.
viewers at home just got that view of that sophisticated system we have here of gathering that information. Yeah, that's right.
Morgan hands it off again to Quentin Lee. He tries to go to the left side this time. He can't get anywhere. So it's going to bring up 4th down for the Bruins.
That's TK Pittman again. My goodness, that's a great defensive stop by the young man. Pittman, a senior, 5'9", 205 pounds. He is in the right spot tonight. Bruins continue to try to mix it up and go left, but they're not picking up much on that side.
No, and the Bruins call a timeout here with 4th and short. You think they're thinking about going for it here?
I think this is 4-down territory, to be honest. They're down
14,
21 points.
21.
It's in the end of the 3rd quarter. I mean, the Crabbers have been benefited tonight by a lot of big plays. There's not a lot you can do with that, whether they're at the 20 or they're at the 50. The big plays have helped the Crabbers. I guess the Bruins are going to go for it here.
Well, they need 3 yards, and they haven't been getting it with Quentin. I tell you what, I'd put it in the hands of that young Bo Morgan and see what he could do. And I'm talking about with his legs, not with his arm.
His top receiver still getting some attention on the bench over here.
Looks like the Bruins are going to spread the field out here. He goes back to pass, throws short to the right, to the left, and it's in and out of the hands of number 10, Darryl Brown.
The leading receiver for the Bruins is not having a great night tonight. He knows it. He's very disappointed in himself. Ball is right there in his hands, and he dropped. That's his 2nd drop tonight.
That's a big turnover for the Bethel Bruins here with 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. That now gives Hampton the ball, and they've been on a roll here since the 2nd half began. And as we've said so many times, they strike quickly.
Look for the big play here. I know Mike Smith wants to put the dagger in this game, and he's got the tools to do it.
Yes, that's no question about that at all.
We'll see if Cal Key repeats that route, because that was so successful in the last drive.
3 receivers up to the right, and this time Quillen takes it, and he's got nobody there to stop him until he gets across midfield to about, well, let's see if they mark it at midfield or just over. They're going to pull it back and mark it at midfield.
Well, once again, you see the speed of Javon Quillen. Josh Hagens makes the stop. That hole wasn't open very long. You'll see it here. Real quick, and then boom, right through the hole. And just a good stop by Hagens. Saved the 1st down.
Looks like he ran into Barrett, and then the Bethel defender got him by the legs.
He's saying he's faster than his own back.
Yes. Quillen keeps it this time, but he runs into several Bruins, and he'll lose a couple of yards on this play as he just ran into
I think he ran into a Crabber too, and he may still be down. Let's see.
Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, he's just a little tired with all the work he's been doing tonight. That's all.
Well, that's the one component that the Crabbers cannot stand to lose is Javon Quillen.
No.
He is as important to that team as anybody in this league. There are teams that could lose their top player and still be all right, but the Crabbers are not one of them.
Did you see a timeout called? I missed that.
Injury
timeout. Okay.
Quarterback is going to be. Let's see who's in quarterback for the Crabbers.
Number 13. I'll tell you who that is in just a second.
No, it's Tyquan Wilkins.
Wilkins, 23.
Nothing for him.
Nope, he tries to get some yards. Looks like he'll take a loss too. That's going to bring up 4th down for the Crabbers. We got another player limping off there. Twisted his leg, looks like.
We'll see if Quillen comes back, but they may just go with Wilkins here on the 3rd down.
Conference here around the ball by the referees. I didn't see a flag anywhere.
Nope. Well, we'll pick it up.
Oh, okay. No flag.
Because it was in his hand.
Maybe it just dropped out of his pocket.
So Bo Lomax on to punt. for the Crabbers. Can't see Quillen on the far side over there. I don't know if he's sitting down or not, getting any attention.
Lomax, ooh, almost had it blocked there. Nice punt, taking it about the 22 by the Bruins. Fair catch. So nice punt by Lomax, driving the Bruins to their own 22-yard line where they'll take over 1st and 10. Again, the Bruins are on the wrong end of a 35-14 score here at Darling Stadium on Thursday, October the 30th, 2014.
I was going to say, we get these pictures that we're seeing from the sideline are spectacular in the definition here.
Oh, we get good pictures on the screen anyway. We've got some good camera people. We've got Randy Bagoli, we've got Susan Bowers, Wube Gabre, we've got Steve Fryer. All these people have been on these cameras for years and years and years, and they give us some fantastic camera shots that you guys are seeing on your screen.
Illegal procedure, Hampton. Still 4th down.
They're going to kick again. Yeah, they're going to bring it back if it's still 4th down. So everybody's going to have to move. Lomax going to kick it again. If they get another bad snap like that, Lomax is now deep in his own territory, behind him between the 25 and the 30.
Darrell Brown back at about the 20, now he moves up to about the 22 for the Bruins. Lomax, a little bit lower punt, picked up at the 30 by Brown. He's the 40 to 50, and he slides down at about the 47-yard line. Looks like he slipped there. If he'd have had one turn, there goes a flag. Boy, that flag went up.
Well, you got two. One is on the last block on a Crabber. So the first one's going to be on Bethel. And that second one may be on Hampton. Let's see, because you have one on the backside as well. You see the other official come in. So you got offsetting penalties, both of them personal fouls. So the Bethel blocker with the late block, shoving number 55 for the Crabbers to the ground. He picked up the first flag, and then somewhere in the mix, there was a second one.
Dead ball, personal foul, Bethel. Dead ball, personal foul, Hampton.
No, the ball's going to stay right where it is.
Well, you know, one year we said that too.
And they moved
it forward, and then they moved it.
Not the veteran crew here. They're going to let it sit right where it is on the 48 of the Crabbers. Bo Morgan with a short field this time, so they're winning the battle field position. That punt to hit Darrell Brown in full stride. He was able to pick up about 30 yards on the return.
Bo Morgan, Quentin Lee in the backfield.
Now there'll be a defensive change for the Crabbers if Quillen is dinged up or they want to give him a break. He is not on the field.
Morgan gets the ball and he fakes it to Quentin Lee. Tries to go to the left side and slips at about the 48. And they're going to mark it at the 50 as he fell forward. He lost his footing there. In fact, actually tore up the turf as he tried to make that cut and fell right down on it, Morgan did.
Well, you know, we had rain last night, pretty heavy rain in the late evening, around midnight. You could hear it on.
What were you doing up at midnight?
Watching Madison Bumgarner for the San Francisco Giants.
That was before 12.
Yeah, that was amazing. Folks that see this game years later, this was the day after Madison Bumgarner won his 3rd game in the World Series.
That was history. Morgan back now looking to the right side here, the near sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. That's number 14 for Bethel, and that's Bryce Scott.
It's a nice catch, nice route by Scott.
Good wide open route for him. He went up, came back, stopped dead, and was in that open zone area. That's going to give, well, let's see, what are they doing here?
It's a good spot by Morgan. You see the ball coming right at you. Good route.
It's going to be about a yard short of the first down, maybe.
Right in the seam between Barrett and Wilkins. Look at him to go right here behind Maxwell.
2 up, 2 down.
Nope,
Morgan looks to the right side again and throws it right into the hands of a Crabber defender, Cal Key, who brings it up to the 35 where he fumbles it. And it appears that the Bruins may have recovered it, but we'll wait and see. That was their indication. We'll wait till the referees give their indication of what happened here.
Well, that's one of those Common Core math problems right there. The number line going up and then the number coming back. And now I think it could be a first down Bethel.
Bethel's ball as they get it right back.
So possession change. They get a 1st and 10.
Well, it was a possession change, but it was Bethel's ball. Intercepted by the Crabbers. Fumble here. Well, you know, hey, pictures say 1,000 words. Morgan on your left. Here's
Chisley, who is dinged up a little bit, limp, doesn't hit the route spot. Key steps in, and then Joshua Wusu knocks it out.
Nice tackle. And then a recovery by the Bruins.
Run by Quentin Lee to the right side, wide that time. First time he's gone wide in a while. Stretches out, picks up about 4 yards. Every yard's been tough for Quentin Lee, but he keeps at it.
About 10 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter at Darling Stadium. Bethel with the ball and down 35-14. Quentin Lee again off the right-hand side, gets down toward the 29-yard line. He'll be well short of the first down. As time expires here in the 3rd quarter at Darling Stadium, you're watching LSC, your local sports channel, on Thursday, October the 30th, 2014. The Hampton Crabbers and the Bethel Bruins. The score, Hampton 35 and Bethel 14, in a game that's really had a lot of mistakes, but been a fun game to watch.
Well, I think Bethel's going to look back and say the mistakes we made were costly tonight. Sometimes you can get away with mistakes, but tonight that interception we saw in the first half with the ball thrown right in the hands of Javon Quillen, he runs it back 70 yards or 75 yards for a touchdown. Yeah. It's mistakes like that have been 72. So costly. 72 yards, so costly for the Bruins.
Yes, the Bruins have had some mistakes passing, and the Crabbers have picked them off several times. And that's been tough for the Bruins. They seem to have been untracked by that. And it speaks well of the Crabber defense, though. They've been real well. Quentin Lee now with 17 carries, but just 64 yards. Quillen 17 carries, 70 yards.
So two of the top running backs, two of the top three running backs or the runners in the district had just a few yards here in the last regular season game of the year. And Lee that time behind Maxwell and Howard.
He gets back to about the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
Well, the Crabbers now know they're coming that way.
We're starting the 4th quarter here at Darling Stadium. A time when the Bethel Bruins are going to have to score quickly and score often if they're going to get back in this game. Morgan leads him out. Trips to the left, near side of the screen here. He gets it, throws quickly to the backfield. Number 2, Ian Bell. He tries to fight his way forward and is getting nowhere. In fact, he's going to lose about 4 yards.
Well, he's hard to get down. You can say that.
Yes, he is.
But they couldn't get a hold of him, but he couldn't get any forward motion.
The ball will go over to the Crabbers on that 4th down play, and they'll have it 1st and 10 now from the 34-yard line. Crabbers with a 35-14 lead. Paul Rowe and Frank Edgar with you here tonight on LSC. Brent Musgrove, our statistician, and on the field analyst Bob Hintz.
Javon Quillen back at quarterback for the Crabbers.
Quillen hands it off. Whoa, hit real hard is number 2 for the Crabbers.
That's Demetrius
Strickland. He's run more times tonight than I've seen him run all year.
Well, he hadn't been in the lineup for 5 games.
Yeah.
So he is, he's getting a good workout tonight. Still doesn't have the quickness. Of course, that'll come.
Well, yeah, that's going to take some time.
Well, the nice thing, they had the week off next week. So he can get him rested and ready and healed up, work on his quickness.
And work on his timing a little bit. I mean, you're going to lose that too, having not been in here all year.
Well, Barrett has really filled in nicely, as Coach Mike Smith told us in the interview. And too much time.
Dead ball, delay, Hampton. Still second down.
One thing that they're going to have to cut out if they want to win in the playoffs are the penalties. I don't know how many tonight. They were at 7 at halftime. I'm going to say it's 9 or 10 now.
It's a lot, that's for sure. 10 for 80 yards and penalties. A little flare pass out to the left to Barrett, who takes it across the 35. It'll be quite short of the first down.
Yep, 10 penalties, 80 yards. And you just can't give up 80 yards in these games. And they're not the worst defender in the Peninsula District. There's teams, even Phoebus and Heritage, have problems with penalties this year.
Part of the game, penalties, but a part that you don't want to have a lot of. Crabbers come up to the line.
I'm waiting for Quillen to throw his one pass to Evan Pitcavish, who's at the top of the screen.
There's Quillen back.
Pitcavish is wide open at the first down mark. He didn't see him.
Quillen off to the left-hand side.
Penalty out here. Flag dropped.
I saw that back here.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
At about the 29-yard line.
Hold on the outside. So completely outside of the play.
Totally
and yet
irrelevant.
a hold. And no question about it. Is the official right on top of it. In fact, I'm surprised he didn't hold the official. He was that close.
Holding Hampton. Still third down.
So that's going to bring it back quite a bit. Some little confusion up here about who the penalty was called on, but it was on the receiver on the near side. And they're going to move back 10 plus a few because the hold was in the backfield.
That takes it back to the 19-yard line, and to get a first down, they've got to go all the way to the 44. And they've got basically one play to do that, because then it'll be fourth down. It's third and a lot.
Very artistic shot there on the ground, or either that or Steve Fryer has fallen over. There you go. I like that. You see the field's in good shape. Well, we had the rain last night, a little bit this morning. It's just a little bit slick.
Spread out offense. Quillen gets it. And he'll go down in the backfield for another loss, and that'll bring up third and very, 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 very long. So Hampton's going to have to punt this ball. So again, Bo Lomax will come in. And Bethel will get another chance here with about 9 minutes left in the game.
Let's see, he's kicking from the 18. Let's see what he can do here. Gets a good snap. The snap's got to be a little sharper.
Daryl Brown, number 10, drops deep for the Bruins. Lomax, good punt, end over end, bounces at midfield, goes to about 44, where it's going to be down. So a nice punt for Bo Lomax. Bruins are going to take over at the 44, first and 10 with 8:51 left in the game. And they're going to have to get their offense rolling if they're going to even think about getting back in this game, down by a score of 35-14.
A 38-yard punt for Lomax.
All right now let's go on down to Bob Hintz, our field analyst. Bob, what have you got for us down there?
Hey, I've been watching Quillen since he's come back out. He doesn't look as sharp. That last series he had the ball, the line did a good job, and he turned to run, and the people caught him from behind, which you haven't seen that very often tonight. And he may be still a little bit dinged up. When he went down, he was hit by two people, and one of them right in the face, and I was very surprised when he got up.
Well, that's the one guy, as we said, Bob, that Crabbers cannot afford to lose. Unfortunately, they have the week off next week, so any little minor injuries tonight are going to have time to heal. That time, the Bruins handed off to Daryl Brown. That's a good idea for guys having a little trouble with his hands tonight, but a very important part of this Bruin offense. They get him involved now with the handoff to Brown. He picks up about 7 yards.
7-yard pickup, 2nd and 3. Spread offense. Brown in motion, and a flag and a whistle. Too much
Dead
time,
ball,
it looks like.
delay, Bethel.
So much for the good play on
Still
first down.
He took that one.
That's a quick clock. Seems very quick, but it's been affecting both teams.
Hampton Crabbers bouncing on the field. You can see them there. They're either getting very, very cold and need to warm up, or they're very confident about getting the ball back again. And
no, something was up there. They didn't like what they saw. They didn't have the right personnel out there. Whatever it was, the Crabber booth up here called that timeout. Hampton now with 11 penalties, 90 yards lost. Bethel with 5 and 40 yards lost.
It's 130 yards of offense that have gone the wrong way. Not what you want for both teams.
Again, both of them are going to have to be sharper. I know Bethel hopefully can hang on to that playoff spot despite the loss. They take the loss tonight. They have 8 minutes, 43 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. They trail by 21. They do have the tools to do it. Bo Morgan with the strong arm, good receivers. T.C. Chisley out here, number 15, a little dinged up. Speaking of guys with injuries, he got hurt early in this quarter, and he has not been as fast as he normally is. Let's see. He's covered out here by Daz Newsom.
2 receivers down to the bottom of your screen. Bo Morgan back to pass, looking downfield, being rushed, grabbed, and down for the loss at about the 35-yard line. A big loss for the Bethel Bruins. A great play by the Crabbers defense as they pressured him quickly and brought him down for the loss.
Linwood Johnson, Elijah Conliff on that sack of Bo Morgan.
3rd and long now for the Bethel Bruins here with 8:13 left in the game.
Bethel has had several drives where they've been sacked, penalties, or just bad plays.
Owusu comes in the game. And in motion, Morgan back to pass again. A little screen pass across the middle. Looks like it's number 10, Darrell Brown, and he'll get it across midfield. And it loses the ball, and the Crabbers say they've got it. We'll have to see what the refs say, but the Crabbers say they've got the ball.
They may have it, but I think Chisley was down. And that Chisley, we were just watching, he was just limping on the play where the Crabbers intercepted it. That time, he looked like he had his strength back. Good run after a catch.
Here's the replay here. You see the pass, it looked like a screen pass developing there across the middle. He takes it down, and there's where he gets hit. He is down before he loses the ball. There's no question about that. Morgan back to pass, can't find anybody, and he's going to be wrestled down at about the 43-yard line, right back just past the line of scrimmage as he tried to scramble for some positive yardage. Just couldn't find anybody downfield he could get it to quick enough, and he's being pressured a lot by that quick Hampton defense right now because they know he's going to be throwing the ball, and they're going after him.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that spot right there. It's twice they've had a post-tackle fumble by the Bruins.
2 receivers up, 2 receivers down. Morgan back to pass again. Looks across the middle, wanting to throw a little dump pass. He's in the hands of the Crabbers, out of them again. Trying to run toward this side of the field, and he's wrestled out of bounds at the 45 for about a 2-yard loss. So a long developing play that didn't develop. And again, the Hampton defense with the pressure and the good coverage in the backfield on the receivers, denying Morgan anybody to throw to.
Well, Bo Morgan's going to look at that play on film and not going to be happy with his receivers. He got no help that time. Chisley was on the far side. He sees his quarterback come free, and he did not try to break across the middle where he would have been wide open for a 30-yard reception. Morgan had to tuck it in and takes a little bit of a sack.
Spread again, Morgan back again. In there again is that quick Hampton defense. Morgan on the loose now at the 40, the 35. He's going to be about a yard short of the first down. But a good play by Morgan, considering that, again, he couldn't find anybody to throw it to, and he scrambled out of the pocket, took off downfield, and it's going to be 4th and a yard, and there's no question what's going to go here, Frank. They've got to go for this one.
Well, Morgan's got to be getting frustrated. His receivers just can't get open, and Morgan's having to tuck it in. He gets out of the pocket, and he's got a moment to throw, and there's nobody open.
And give credit to the Hampton secondary for that. They're staying right with those receivers. Morgan now gives it to Quentin Lee, and it looks like he's going to get the first down as he gets near the 30-yard line.
Well, there's the benefit of having Howard and Maxwell there. If you need to pick up 3 or 4 yards, you run right behind them. And Lee picks up the first down. That offensive line of the Bruins has done a pretty good job tonight. They've had their hands full with the young Crabber defense.
Two receivers up, one down. He looks to the one. He can't find anybody, and he takes it up the middle. He kept looking to the right side. It looks like he had a receiver open quickly, and then he lost that receiver to the defense.
Well, Chisley comes limping back to the huddle. You see number 15. Every time he comes back, he's limping. We see him on the one reception, and he seems full speed. I'm not sure he is full speed, and they're having a trouble finding their way open. Bob, you got something?
After this play.
All right. 2 up and 1. Two down and 1 up. Again, he looks to that one receiver, throws it right to him, and he gets down to about the 17-yard line. He's going to pick up the first down. So now with 4 minutes to go, they're moving. Let's go down real quickly to analyst Bob Hintz on the field. Bob.
Hey, guys, just want to let you know, I know you got to pick a player of the game. We don't want to forget to mention Tidewater Team Sports, Dave Chupp and Terry McLemore up there. Bethel's got a good chance to take the ball in here, but right now they're fighting 2 opponents out there, Hampton Crabbers and the Clock.
And they're losing on both respects right now, unfortunately. 2 receivers to the top of the screen, and he gives it to Quentin Lee, who takes it off the right side and down near the 10-yard line. Looks like the Bruins have... Well,
that last pass, I want to know is that Bryce Scott's come in with the play. That's a couple passes caught by him here in the second half. I think he's done a good job for the Bruins. That time, of course, Lee right behind the right side of Howard and Maxwell.
Yeah, they've been looking for Bryce Scott. He's been up at the top of the screen here earlier, and that's who he was looking for, trying to throw to him. He was open once and didn't hit him. Just some movement by the Crabbers, who came across the line real quickly on the upper side.
The center tonight has been
encroachment, Hampton.
William Drinkard has been holding down the center duties for the Bruins. We haven't called his name because he is not listed, at least in the starting lineup we have, but Drinkard at center tonight. He's done a nice job. He's a junior, 5'11", 235, so he's a little one on the front line.
I tell you what, we've got to start thinking about players of the game, like Bob said, and it's going to be a little difficult tonight because everybody's played fairly well.
Yeah, it is tough. The Crabbers have spread around the load tonight. Quillen, of course, had a great night.
Receivers all over the field here for Morgan. He's back to pass, looking to the left. Now he looks to the right. Now he scrambles. Now he splits. And he's down to about the 5-yard line. Again, he can't get a receiver open, or I should say, I guess, the receivers can't get open.
Well, now if Bubba Hooker is just going to have to run right behind his big men and see if that line can't push it in for a score. I know he'd like to get at least one more touchdown on the board.
Oh, yeah.
And they can do that. They can kick try to the onside kick. And yeah, they're a little bit.
Spread out again with trips to this side. They give it to Quentin Lee, and he's heading for the corner of the end zone, and he's close.
No, he's in.
He's in. I can't see the.
Well, that's because one of the Bethel players kind of bumped in the official and actually wrapped him up instead of knocking him over, so he couldn't get his arms up for the touchdown signal, but Lee once again off the right side. Quentin Lee, I hope he buys Maxwell and Howard a few steaks during the week, because they sure do open the door for him.
So Quentin Lee, with 2:51 left in the game, gets into the end zone for 6 more points for the Bruins. And we'll see what happens for the point after here. Drop, and it looks to be good. It is good. So with 2:51 left here at Darling Stadium, the Hampton Crabbers 35 and the Bethel Bruins 21.
Give a little credit to the holder. That's Darryl Brown, who's had a couple drop pass nights, a couple of good runs, but that time that was a great hole. I'm not sure the ball got to the ground before Deaton kicked it through. I think it may have come right out of the hold of Brown. So a good play by Darryl Brown. He's been a terrific receiver for the Bruins this year. Their leading receiver. And a good play here, a good special teams play. There's the run. You see that Howard locked up his man, and then it's all Quentin Lee there afterward. You see the player here, and he hugs the official, and the line judge can't get his hands up in time, but there it is. So the Bruins pull within 14, and now we're going to look for the onside kick. Lee has been the dominant player tonight for the Bruins.
Can you read my writing? We've already done him. Yep. We've already done him. Looks like a little short kick here where it's going to be picked up by Daz Newsome at about the 36-yard line, and he runs backwards to the 31. So the Crabbers will have 1st and 10 with 2:46 left in the game from their own 31 after a -5-yard return.
Split it.
2:46 left in the game.
Well, I'll cast my vote on air.
Yeah.
Kibble double extra large. Well, I can tell you, there's a great. I got a defender for the Crabbers who I thought has played well. Pittman has played beautifully tonight. Yeah, I think Pittman's played well. And
I think either one of these two.
I know, and I hate to give it either one. You're going to need a big shirt.
Either one of these two.
You're going to need a tent. Do they make tents up there at Tidewater Team Sports? You need about a 12X.
They do.
We're talking about players a game here, and we've got quite a discussion because, to be honest, both teams have played well. They've spread the load tonight, Crabbers in particular. Tyquan Wilkins with a beautiful catch and run. Cal Key with a good catch and run. Quillen's tight. We have a policy. We don't like to give them more than once a year.
Yeah, we try to spread them out. If you get it one time, you're not going to get it again.
Well, we've got our idea. I think you guys are on the right line on Bethel.
Yeah. Hampton.
Well, let's see. I think TK Pittman's played beautifully on defense tonight. I've been very impressed with him. And then Wilkins has been his usual self.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Come on, D! Come on, defense!
There's somebody else.
Well, if you can come up with two T-shirts, they can wear it every other day.
How many yards does Barrett have? How many yards does Barrett have?
I mean, it goes Quillen to the left. Quillen, all Quillen. First down, Quillen. Quillen's getting close to 100 yards now as we try to parse out these player of the game T-shirts. That's the toughest job we've had tonight.
It is.
Of course, we have a policy. We try not to give it to the same player once but only one time during the regular season. That makes it tough for it. Of course, Quentin Lee's had a great night tonight, and Jovan Quillen's had a great one. Quillen and Lee probably won theirs. I'm kind of thinking I'm leaning towards Wilkins and Pittman.
And you know who I'm rooting for.
Well, I'll let you go, Bo. You give me these two. I'll trade you. You give me those two, and you can take whoever you want on the other side.
You'll have to talk to the man that.
There's Ralph Saunders, Ray Smith.
Ray Smith from Bethel.
Home of academic
principal.
Can't talk to Ralph Saunders more than a minute. All right, well then that's going to be tough.
You're going to have to make that decision.
All right, I'll tell my ruling here. We got a break in the action. We're going to for Bethel. We've been fighting about whether we can give 2 T-shirts. I'm being told no. No, he says 2 T-shirts. It's hard to pick one, the guard or the tackle. Actually, I carried 2, but that's a long story.
Good argument. Good argument.
Yeah, don't you laugh.
Good argument. Yeah, buddy.
Well, we've Daz Newsom's a good pick too. Yep. Well, for Bethel, we're battling between Maxwell and Howard. Those two on the right side, and again, Quentin Lee. If the one that doesn't get
coin.
Brent Musgrove's giving me the sign. You see him there explaining it too.
I like that.
I'm okay. I'll pick these guys. You pick Hampton. I'm going to say Maxwell and Howard for Bethel. If Quentin Lee's not going to take them to the steakhouse, I'm going to, and then they can get a T-shirt. I'm okay with Wilkins and Newsom.
I am too.
I mean, they are.
Those were either of my picks.
Yes. Though I will say a good call out to T.K. Pittman, who's played very well on the defensive side tonight.
He has.
All right, we'll write them down. Maxwell and Howard earned the T-shirts for the Bruins tonight. It's hard to separate the guard and the tackle. And, of course, for Quentin Lee, he doesn't want to separate them. He wants them both in front of him, and he's had them tonight. So those hard-fought yards tonight for Quentin Lee have come in behind those 2 good linemen. And all 5 of them have played well tonight. And for the Crabbers, the receivers, spectacular speed, good hands, Daz Newsom and Tyquan Wilkins. There goes Quillen, speaking of speed, off the left side, no room for him.
So there they are, Maxwell and Howard and Wilkins and Newsom are players of the game here. We're announcing that with 1:35 left in the game. The score, 35-21, Hampton over Bethel.
Well, I like this. Bethel's called the timeout, their last timeout, but they want to get the ball back, and I like that. I like the way Bubba Hooker keeps fighting. Down 14, but he's got 1:35. He's going to look for quick hit here if he can stop the Crabbers on 4th down.
Yeah, why not? I mean, one score with a couple of seconds makes it 28-35. An onside kick, you get it back, score it again, you got a tie ball.
He's got speedy receivers and a strong arm, 6'4" quarterback. We were talking in half. I was talking with Wube Gabray, one of our cameramen, who's one of the sharpest high school football guys I know. But we were talking about Quentin Lee. And I think Quentin Lee, if you give him the right line, can play Division I football at the next level. I really think he's that kind of back. When we were watching Michael Vick back when we had Ronald Curry at Hampton High, Vick for Warwick, you didn't see all that Vick could do because his line was not as good as the line he got at Virginia Tech. And I think you're going to see Quentin Lee go on and become a very good college running back.
Bob Hintz on the field. You got something for us, Bob?
Yeah, I hear you guys talking about Quentin Lee. His dad, Jeff Lee, good friend of mine. I got to know him when Quentin was just a baby, and he was telling me that he played football and he did some coaching and went over to the south side, did some coaching, but he is real proud of Quentin Lee. He says this young man can go to the next level, and I believe you're right. If you give him the right situation, and he could become a star in college.
Well, Bob, I agree. I think if you had the Howard and Maxwell equivalent on the left side, I mean, they have a very nice line, and Lee is very comfortable going around the right side, and he's picked up, I bet you, 7/8 of his yards tonight on around the right end. He's very comfortable behind Howard and Maxwell. We've seen them a couple weeks in a row now, but I think he's got the size. He's 5'10". He's very quick in the open field, good moves, and he takes a hit real well.
And as Morgan gets ready to pass, we've seen other people like that, such as Taj Boyd from Phoebus, who didn't have to pass while he was at Phoebus because they've got all these running backs. Is the Phoebus running back, who is that, number?
It's Chisley.
Chisley. Take it all the way to midfield and passed into Crabber territory, about the 45. But getting back to Taj Boyd, He never had to pass. He just handed the ball off and ran. Well, what happened when he got to Clemson, he's got a great line that protects him, and all of a sudden he's throwing the ball, and he was one of the top passers in college football for years.
A storybook career there, especially with that ending.
Yeah. Fast, quick play here to number 10, Darryl Brown. He's loose. He could go all the way to 5. He's pushed out of bounds at about the 1 or 2 yard line.
That's mighty close.
58 seconds in the game, and Darryl Brown takes that little short pass.
Well, all of a sudden,
splits everybody and gets down to the goal line.
No, they've called it a touchdown.
Oh,
looks
have
like.
they?
Yeah, they got points on the board. Tim Ewing's got points on the board.
I never saw the touchdown.
Yeah,
okay,
so
I'm saying yes, he scored, but I never saw the sign, so he did score.
He got the cone there. Well, we've seen Chisley with one great play, and then Brown with the other. So the 2 top receivers show their mettle here in the last minute of the ball game, and the Bruins go all the way down and score. Now they're only a touchdown and an extra point behind. Timeout called by the Crabbers. They're taking their last timeout. Yeah, here comes the replay.
Watch this catch and run. Morgan looking for somebody to throw it to. Finds Darryl Brown. Look at that nice move. Now watch this. He splits them, and look at the speed. Now he got the ball over.
Yeah, there it is.
Got that arm over there.
Yeah, I know.
No, it was in his right hand. It was in his right hand.
That's a close call. I'm the same way. I thought he was at the 1, but officials right on top of it. Quillen trying to chase him down. You can see how fast Brown is. His chase Deaton for a very important extra point.
Let's see if he can
Brown
get that
with the
one.
set.
It's good.
Yeah.
So now we've got a 1 touchdown lead by the Crabbers, 35-28 with 58 seconds to go, and everybody in the stadium knows what's going to happen here, Frank. They're going to try for the onside kick, and as you know in football, anything can happen, folks. Stay glued to your seats for 58 seconds. See if the Bruins can turn this game around, down 28-35.
Yeah, that was a good, very good passing by Morgan. He finally had a few receivers open. Crabbers have shifted to kind of a prevent defense, and they're going to put some hands guys up on the line. Coaches on both ends of the booth down here, just at the top of their voice there. Everybody's excited. It's the most life we've seen out of the crews up here the whole game.
If you guys could hear what we hear throughout the night, we have the coaching staff of one team to our left and the coaching staff of the other team to our right at the end of the press row, and we hear them all night long, but they are really, really chattering right now as this game has taken a complete turn with 58 seconds left.
Well, if they could hear what we hear, Andy Foley would be arrested by the FCC. Chase Deaton going to try to find a hole there 10 yards down the field.
Here it comes, and I don't think it got 10 yards.
Nope.
Bethel did pick it up, but I think it was about 1.5 yards short.
Hagens, I think, on the pickup there for Bethel. Josh Hagens. They're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
No, they've got it. Yeah, he's got it down. Just no penalty. But it's going to belong to the Crabbers at the Bethel 49.
56 seconds left, and all Hampton's going to have to do now is down the ball. You've been watching LSC, your local sports channel. Paul Rowe along with Frank Edgar. Brent Musgrove, our statistician tonight to my left, and on the field analyst Bob Hintz. Hampton Crabbers and Bethel Bruins. The score right now, 35-28, and unless something very strange happens, that's the way it's going to end here with 56 seconds left, as Hampton is just going to down the ball, and then they'll do the same thing again, and time will expire.
And that's going to, it is going to do that. Nobody has a timeout left, so.
And while we're waiting, Frank, will you tell us what is that place that we ate that great food from today?
I tell you, Grey Goose, downtown Hampton, Old Hampton
Illegal
Lane.
procedure, Hampton.
Grey Goose has got a Merry Christmas, Darling Southern Harmony special featuring the Southern Bells. That starts in December. There are a lot of nights, a lot of dates available. $35 for the dinner and the show. It's a 3-course dinner. If you've ever eaten any food prepared by the Epsteins, Dana and Phil, you're going to enjoy this. So check it out on Facebook or at thegraygoose.com, and you can email them at thegraygoose@cox.net, or just drop by for lunch and ask them about what they got going on in December. Keep your eye out for special evenings and special breakfasts at Christmas time down at Gray Goose. Quillen's going to kneel again. So Bethel makes it a game, and I'll tell you, the smart playing there. They were able to get the ball back, 2 quick passes, score a touchdown. They make it a close game. That may help them in playoffs. I don't know. That system is like you put some numbers in one end and out the other comes a list. So that may help them here.
So this one's going to end at 35-28. The Hampton Crabbers will improve to a record of 7-3. Bethel will even up at 5-5. The clock winds down to 8-7-6.
Well, the Crabbers had one of the toughest schedules coming in. At one point, I think they were 1-3.
Yes, they were.
And now they come back at 7-3 to finish the year. Losses to Heritage, Woodside, and Phoebus. And that's it. So the 3 top teams in the district got them, but they look good tonight. Bethel came on strong here in the second half, able to close the gap in the fourth quarter, and end up dropping the game by 7. Good ball game.
A few breaks here and there for the Bethel Bruins, or a few less mistakes.
Right.
And this could have been a totally different ball game tonight for the Bruins, as their passing game kind of ran into a little bit of trouble against a tough Hampton defense.
And for Bethel, if this is it, we don't know if the South Side teams have 2 more weeks, tonight or this weekend and next weekend. But we've seen some great seniors, Quentin Lee, Bo Morgan in particular, and I hate to see him go, but hopefully we'll be able to do a couple playoff games. We'll just see how it goes.
Just have to see what happens. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you've been watching LSC from Darling Stadium on Thursday, October the 30th, 2014, and you've just witnessed the Hampton Crabbers beat the Bethel Bruins 35-28. I'm Paul Rowe, along with Frank Edgar, Brent Musgrove, and Bob Hintz. We thank you for joining us tonight here at Darling Stadium. Any last words, Frank?
No, great ball game. Come on out and support these teams when they get in the playoffs, people. And I know we didn't have a very good crowd tonight, but come out and support them here in the stadium as they go in the playoff.
And remember, we bring you football and all sorts of sports on LSC. And don't forget Bob Hintz's Sports Talk that you can watch every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you in the next game.